Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get the same breakthrough one-day treatment I received at Advanced Hair during their once yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during their best offer of the year. For details and a free consultation, call 425-449-8185, advancedhair.com.
Wait, if I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Hey, it's Lori from Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation with exciting news. We now offer the exclusive K-Guard gutter system. Say goodbye to clogged gutters and hello to less maintenance. Call today or visit us online at guardianroofing.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Kathan. From Boston to New York, Philadelphia, and Baltimore, temperatures are closing in on or topping 100 degrees in a punishing early summer heat wave.
The heat is pretty bad. It's oppressive.
Oppressive and potentially dangerous for people working outside or without AC. CBS's Nancy Chen.
On the Maryland coast, it's a rush to the beach to cool off in the ocean. Temperatures here will hit the mid-90s today. We spoke with Sergeant of Ocean City's Beach Patrol, Jamie Falcon, about the sweltering heat.
When the weather is this hot, what kind of precautions do you and your team take?
Hydration, hydration, hydration. If you're starting to feel thirsty, you've already waited too long. You need to, in this kind of an environment, you should be drinking water like it's medicine.
In Paterson, New Jersey, 5 people were hospitalized for dehydration at an outdoor high school graduation. It felt like 111 degrees outside.
Well, the temperature may be dropping some in the Middle East. President Trump says a ceasefire is in effect after blaming both Israel and Iran for violating a hasty truce. Israel claims an Iran violation nearly prompted a response. CBS's Haley Ott in Tel Aviv.
Israel's defense minister said after the missile strikes this morning that he'd instructed the IDF to respond forcefully to Iran with powerful strikes in the heart of Tehran. And then there appears to have been one strike on a radar site, and that's it. The IDF said that after President Trump spoke on the phone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this morning, Israel refrained from further attacks.
Well, here at home, CBS's Nicole Skaga reports ICE has arrested 11 Iranian nationals over the past 2 days.
This was a series of targeted operations that were carried out in 9 cities and across 8 states nationwide. And among those arrested, at least one man who was a known or suspected terrorist on that watch list and an alleged former member of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Well, Ford is recalling more than 120,000 Lincoln vehicles. Reporter Jeff Gilbert of affiliate WWJ Detroit tells us why.
Parts can fly off of the 2020 through 25 model year Aviators because of what's called insufficient adhesive retention, meaning the glue isn't doing a good enough job. Ford's recalling 132,000 Aviators. They think about 3% of them could have the issue, which could be a hazard to other vehicles and pedestrians.
Fed Chairman Jerome Powell is telling Congress today policymakers will wait and see how the economy evolves before considering an interest rate cut. And on Wall Street, right now, the Dow is up 433 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
One of the so-called Hillside Stranglers is up for parole. Details coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Tukwila, a crash is blocking lane on southbound I-405 near State Route 181. You're jammed up to Renton. In Bothell, a crash is partially blocking the I-405 southbound off-ramp to westbound State Route 522. You are backed up on 522 from 405 to Costco. Travel time Alderwood to South Center via 405 is 81 minutes. That's about 10 longer than typical. Traffic brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Get lower home energy bills, cleaner air, and year-round comfort with AeroSeal duct sealing starting at just $99.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A man accused of trying to set a gas station on fire dies in a confrontation with Pierce County Sheriff's deputies.
Lakewood Police Sergeant Charles Porsche tells me the suspect lit a torch to set fire to the Pacific Pride fueling station in Parkland.
Definitely concerning, especially given the nature of that particular business.
Porsche says deputies spotted the man a block away, and moments later, one deputy shot and killed the suspect. No word yet what led to that shooting. No deputies were injured. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
One of the Hillside Stranglers is up for parole this week in Washington State. Tomorrow, the state parole board is expected to review the case of serial killer Anthony D'Amato, formerly Kenneth Bianca, according to the Washington State Standard. He was convicted of killing 2 women in Bellingham in 1979 and helping his cousin murder several others in California. Neighbors are demanding the city of Seattle do more to keep cars from crashing into homes along Rainier Avenue South. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss with the latest incident.
A dark-colored car veering off Rainier Avenue South and crashing down an embankment, slamming into Madeline Jung's home.
I haven't even put in a claim. I'm afraid to because the insurance may cancel me. And my homeowners has gone up threefold.
It's the third time a car has gone off the road and hit her lakefront home since the beginning of last year.
I'm just waiting for the next one.
Neighbors say they're constantly on edge because of speeding and distracted drivers causing property damage.
The Seattle Department of Transportation says it is designing safety improvements, including better lane markings and signs. Mukilteo's mayor has vetoed what would have been the highest sales tax in our state, 10.7%. The city council had passed it by 1 vote to help fund road repairs, but the mayor tells the Everett Herald he's worried about the impact on businesses and families and that it could deter voters from passing a new emergency services levy. A tough loss for the Seattle Sounders after the local squad faced off against Europe's top team.
Seattle fans gathering in Fremont to watch the Sounders' 0-2 loss to Paris Saint-Germain. Across town, Lumen Field provided the stage for the international matchup, part of the FIFA Club World Cup. DraftKings put a Sounders victory at 15-1 odds. One Sounder fan shared that sentiment.
We just got to realize we don't have a team that can compete at this level.
PSG advancing to the next round. The Sounders have been eliminated. Gwen Baumgartner, KIRO News Radio.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 80. It is 63 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Tuesday, June 24th. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning, G. I want to say, how are you doing?
Oh,
welcome
boy.
back, but you are suffering from some serious allergies.
Look here, I'm sitting here spending money here at work. I've already ordered some eye drops that got here. I ordered some Claritin, and the Claritin is like, fam, I don't know why you even ordered me again. You know how I work. That Claritin don't do nothing. The Claritin is straight up Tic Tacs. You feel me?
Uh-huh.
Look,
it's like
put it.
breath freshener.
Breath freshener.
Uh-huh.
So right now, I got some Flonase. I just ordered some Flonase. I got that on the way.
Oh my God, we talked about that. You're doing that.
Man, I'm doing everything.
You're desperate.
I was in the shower. I did it, man.
Okay.
Your
well,
boy's struggling.
we're gonna try to make it through this show.
All right.
Because it is packed. We've got a lot for you.
Yep.
Hey, it is peak tourist season in Seattle. The tourists are here, but where have all the locals gone? if you live in the Seattle area, why have you stopped going to Pike Place Market and all the other tourist attractions in Seattle? Text us on our KIRO News Radio text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We will talk about that coming up at 9:30.
All right. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Head to YouTube, listen to the show. It is the Gee Ursula Show. Time for Ursula's Top Stories of the Day, brought to you by Bathfitter Northwest.
Israel is accusing Iran of launching missiles into its airspace after a ceasefire was in effect. It is vowing to retaliate. And on Iranian state media, Iran's military denies firing on Israel, although explosions and sirens were heard across northern Israel. And the Israeli military says 2 Iranian missiles have been intercepted. Speaking to reporters today, President Trump said both sides are at fault and they essentially just need to knock it off.
I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
And after speaking with President Trump, now Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is saying that Israel actually refrained from even tougher strikes against Iran. So this very tenuous ceasefire between Israel and Iran remains in place this morning.
Ursula, you know me, I like to talk about things and make it relatable for all of us. And Benjamin Netanyahu is a little punk. He is that one at your school. He's probably, I'm not trying to go height-wise, but I'm just trying to give you an image of what I'm looking at. He's like 5'2". He's like 125 pounds. He got some homeboys that's real big. You see what I'm saying? And he's the one that always runs his damn mouth. He's the little chihuahua of the group. And he is the one that gets things started. The problem in all of this, it has been, it continues to be, is Benjamin Netanyahu. That dude. He's a problem. And so now, here we are again in this potential of a ceasefire, and then soon as something happens, Israel somehow, some way, drops some type of bombs. They do this stuff as if it's last tag, and it's just, I'm tired of it. And so you can see some frustration out of President Trump. He comes out and he says they don't know what the F that they are doing. And you're right. They have been fighting these wars. They've been fighting for a long time and will probably continue to fight for a long time. This is why us and our involvement, we have to be really strategic and careful.
I'm glad that the Prime Minister of Israel listens to President Trump. And I also want to just say, and we talked about this a lot because there was a lot of breaking news during the show yesterday, but I want to say that as hard as we are on the Trump administration, I think President Trump deserves credit for potentially achieving the stated goal of ending Iran's nuclear program. And there's a lot of debate about whether Iran actually had nuclear weapons, but there's no debate that Iran had the capability of developing one, how it had all the materials ready to go. And while trying to save face, it is clear that Iran realizes that it can't and it won't win this war. I listened to retired General Frank McKenzie. He is a former commander of CENTCOM.
I think the most important thing is the Iranians want to de-escalate. This war has not gone well from them. They've been substantively defeated in virtually everything they've tried.
This is also new information this morning. In an interview with the Associated Press, Israel's ambassador to France said that Israeli strikes over the past few weeks have killed at least 14 Iranian physicists and nuclear engineers who he alleged were personally involved in nuclear weapons development. Then, of course, on Saturday night, American B-2s bombed Iran's major nuclear enrichment facilities. According to President Trump, obliterated them. I mean, just to put it into perspective, this was the largest B-2 bomber strike in U.S. history, the second largest B-2 mission flown, only behind missions after 9/11. Mm-hmm. So, again, I mean, it is a tentative ceasefire, and
I just want to say one more thing. As far as the Trump administration and Donald Trump, I don't like whatever the methods and the actions are and what they are trying to accomplish. That is one thing. His delivery, his tone, the way he talks about this and the way he goes about this, here's what makes me nervous. It makes me nervous that he is the type of person, we talk about this on the show all the time, who lacks conflict resolution skills. He is the person that does not know how to, with any type of diplomatic posture in his tone and his body, he is the type to, instead of trying to talk things out, I am nervous that this might be the trajectory of where we're going. You don't like something, drop a bomb. You don't like something, drop a bomb. And this was what he campaigned on. He campaigned on this right here, not dropping bombs, not getting into new wars, right? This is what a lot of people voted for. And now here we are in this case. So I hope, Ursula, going forward,
for all our sake,
that this isn't the case. I hope that there's some type of diplomacy that is able to be accomplished when talking about these very complex issues.
The Justice Department is now suing the state of Washington over its newly passed law that requires clergy members to report child abuse even if it is disclosed during confession. So this lawsuit seeks to block this law, which the department describes as anti-Catholic. Democratic State Senator Noel Frame sponsored the bill.
The state does not have to be complicit when faith communities choose to cover up child abuse and neglect.
Frank Schuster with the Archdiocese of Seattle tells KOMO 4 News this law puts Catholic priests in an impossible situation.
Where does this put the Archdiocese of Seattle? Do you plan to enforce this new law?
Well, a priest can't. There's also, a double standard here, I have to say, because, it calls out the privileged communication between priests and penitents, but it does nothing about like doctors and patients or lawyers and their clients or even spouses.
Under this law, clergy is added to the list of mandatory reporters of sex abuse. Nurses, school personnel, psychologists, they're already required to report when they suspect that a child has experienced abuse or neglect.
Yeah. Ursula, they lost this benefit of the doubt and they've lost their privilege. This needs to continue, and I totally understand this 5375. Is that the number? Is that correct? Did I get that right? Okay. What I'm saying is Ursula, between the years of 2004 and 2023, the U.S., I need to always say this all the time, the U.S. Catholic Diocese paid $5 billion on sexual abuse allegations. Full stop. We're not doing this. Don't come to me talking about, well, this will kind of mess up what's always been done and this goes against. No, you lost that. $5 billion in sexual abuse allegations was paid out from 2004 2023.
I agree with you with the part about the history of the sex abuse in the Catholic Church among priests and that just very dark history involving the church, which the church is still paying out so much money for. I do think that the Justice Department may have some legal standing on all this by arguing that this would be a violation of the First and 14th Amendments. I just wanted to mention that Governor Ferguson reacted. He's a lifelong Catholic, and he says this is disappointing but not surprising to see that the DOJ is seeking to shield and protect child abusers. I personally think that, and I'm a Catholic, but I'm not a strong practicing Catholic, but I would think that the interest of the child's safety should come above all else. And that I wish that the Catholic Church would not fight this.
Yeah, you think.
Yeah, but I think they are. And unfortunately, I think that the DOJ may have some, at least, legal arguments that could work in the church's favor. Speaking of lawsuits, King County is now suing several Issaquah homeowners, accusing them of illegally cutting down more than 140 trees on protected public land so that they could improve their views of West Tiger Mountain. This story is from King 5 News, and their reporter spoke with Alex Brown, who had set up this trail camera because he likes to take wildlife photography, and he wanted to be alerted when there was any kind of movement.
Alex Brown's trail camera typically picks up wildlife.
Lots of bears. Pretty much every day we see a bear or two coming by that camera up there.
bobcats, cougars, the occasional mountain lion.
But not this time.
To see a tree just flying down the hill like a javelin was pretty alarming.
And then when he went to investigate, he saw that these neighbors had allegedly cut down more than 140 trees. This other neighbor, Caitlin McNulty, talked to King 5 News as well, and she says the homeowners wanting to improve their views clearly thought no one would notice.
I imagine that they thought there was a very low probability of anyone finding out, right? It's like no one goes up to that specific area of the park. It would have been really hard for someone to have known that this happened. And I think the only reason we did is that we had that wildlife cam there.
So now King County is seeking nearly $7 million in damages, saying that the illegal chopping down of those trees caused significant and generational harm to a protected natural area. Wait, I'm laughing because can you imagine that these folks went in there like, no one's going to notice 140 trees coming down? I mean... Oh, my God.
So here's the thing, Ursula. So I read the story, and I was just thinking, man, this is just some bad luck. You know what I mean? Because you just thought you was going to be smooth. Ain't nobody going to notice. We're way out of here. Just chop, 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 chop. Get a little better view. You know what I'm saying? Everything's good. But you got caught. And here's the thing. Ursula, you know this. You tell your children this. You got to think sometimes that there are consequences. And this here is some of them.
Yeah, so the county's going after $7 million. Okay, but no, it could, but there's a possibility. So I'm just curious because they're saying this is currently a civil case, but the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office says criminal charges are possible if it is referred to them by the King County Sheriff's Office. Now, do you think it should be a criminal case? I think we all agree they ought to be paying up. I mean, you're talking about it's generational damage. Someone may argue, well, there's so many trees over there anyway. Like, who's going to be hurt by it? But there was some protected and sensitive habitat that was affected for someone's view.
So you be sitting in the messages, you be the judge. Ursula, I'm going to give you your chance because I think this is one of those things, and it's funny because a lot of times people say I'm the crazy left liberal one, but when it comes to crime, it's pretty harsh. So what you want to do?
I'm very harsh too.
What are you going to do?
When it comes to criminal stuff.
What are you going to do? Here.
However, I'm going to go for the civil penalties.
And what's the civil penalty? What do you got?
You pay up $7 million.
Yeah.
It's going to be that's a lot. If you're divvying it up between three homeowners. I mean, that's a big chunk of change.
$7 million.
They're going to settle out of court.
That's your life. Sure. And then
those are those homes. Those are those homes that you try to improve those views.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to hear from you. What kind of penalties do you think are appropriate? 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. I mean, chopping down 140 trees on protected public land.
Listen, y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No need to count.
Do you want me to count to 140? That might be some criminal.
That's
criminal.
If you're talking about, let's say, if you're talking about 3 homeowners. Sophia, can you check how many homeowners are we talking about? Divide 140 by 3. That's like what, 45-ish, 46 trees per house.
You know what, Ursula? Nah, this criminal. That's criminal. You can't do that. You can't just go out here and just chop trees and say you didn't know. You know. If you own a home, you know, and especially here's the thing. Your intent was to get better views, right? So if that was your intent, then you definitely know that you can't do that.
If you were the judge, how much time, and they were convicted of some crime, how much time are you giving them for chopping down those trees?
How about this? How about this? I'll suspend your jail sentence. You do not go and serve any time, but you're on probation for 5, 10 years.
You're going to be planting trees.
You're going to put you on probation. You got some work release conditions. You know what I'm saying? So, but you
that $7 million's not enough. I mean, that's a pretty big chunk of change. That's a pretty big chunk of change. Okay, text us 888-973-5476, 888-97.
So you don't want to go criminal?
I'm not going criminal, but throw the book at them civilly.
But is it criminal what they did?
It is.
All right.
So you know what else is criminal?
What?
The fact that you have to sniff throughout this show.
I'm sniffing, boy.
Oh, my word.
Your boy's struggling. We Need to Talk happens at 9:47. What food chain would you like to see come to Seattle, or do you even care? But up next, there's one group that isn't visiting Seattle attractions as much as they did before, and maybe we'll talk about some reasons, but we have one attraction downtown Seattle that has increased 114% in the last 5 years. I'll tell you next. Gee Ursula.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
A big story developing this morning.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
Get the latest live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Huge impacts for Boeing and Boeing workers.
The office, the gym, anywhere.
Water, like taxes, goes all the way down to the bottom, so it'll either come out of the employee's paycheck or the lack of raise.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro refrigerant products at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
You know that cartoon of the three-eyed fish swimming in polluted water next to a nuclear power plant?
Yeah, classic.
I used to think that was real, but I just learned that nuclear energy waste isn't some glowing green goo. It's actually used fuel rods from nuclear reactors that made electricity.
Wait, so no barrels of leaking sludge?
No, solid used fuel rods are safely stored at all the nuclear power plants in the U.S., including the one in Richland.
So the cartoon fish isn't real?
Not even close. Learn the facts about nuclear energy and used fuel at energy-northwest.com.
Fraud is rampant, and those on Medicare are targets. Medicare never makes cold calls, so when someone calls you and says they're from Medicare, hang up. If you get an offer for free medical equipment or services, toss it. When you get your medical statement, read it. And if anything looks suspicious, report it to the Senior Medicare Patrol with Sheba. Sheba is a free, unbiased service of the Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner. If you suspect fraud, search Medicare Sheba or call 800-562-6900.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
If you're wearing
wearing glasses or contacts, but you need reading glasses or bifocals now? You need to join Drs. Kopstein and King for the K2 Vision RLE live webinar this Thursday at noon to learn about refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE. This free webinar is a perfect opportunity to meet the doctors and have them answer all your questions about K2 Vision RLE. Questions like, how much does RLE cost? Is financing available? Does insurance pay for RLE? These questions and lots more will be covered this Thursday at noon during the K2 Vision RLE free live webinar. K2 Vision surgeons have performed over 150,000 procedures. They know when RLE is right for you. K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers. Plus, no more cataracts. Don't miss the free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Register at K2VisionRLE.com. K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. President Trump is accusing both Israel and Iran of violating the ceasefire he brokered.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
CBS's Deborah Patta says it is calmer this morning after strikes overnight.
Iran's parting shots came in 6 waves of missiles, with a direct hit on the Israeli town of Beersheba. Rescue workers rushed to the scene, searching for survivors.
At least 4 people died. Nearly a dozen Iranian nationals have been picked up in the U.S. by ICE, which says the group includes an individual with ties to Hezbollah. CBS's Nicole Skenga.
Officials have not linked these arrests to any specific credible terrorism plots, but all of these Iranians have been charged or accused of criminal violations. According to ICE, that means more than just violating civil immigration law.
Happening now, the National Transportation Safety Board is holding a hearing to determine exactly why a door plug blew out of a Boeing 737 MAX near Portland last year. NTSB Chair Jennifer Hamady.
It was missing bolts securing the door plug, but the same safety deficiencies that led to this accident
could just as easily have led to other manufacturing quality escapes and perhaps other accidents.
Preliminary reports indicate workers failed to attach the bolts at Boeing's Renton plant. The FAA has capped Boeing 737 MAX production at 38 jets a month until regulators are sure the company's improved safety. Despite continued bashing from President Trump about lowering interest rates, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell told a House hearing there's enough concern about tariffs and inflation to keep rates where they are for now.
A significant majority of the committee, but also there's a pretty significant minority that doesn't agree, but a significant majority feels it will be appropriate to reduce rates later this year.
PCC Community Markets is reopening in Seattle's Rainier Square next month, but it'll be a much smaller version than the one that closed in 2024 over low foot traffic. The new store, called PCC Corner Market, will focus on quick meals and everyday essentials. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 489 points, NASDAQ ahead 284. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, a crash is blocking a lane on I-90 eastbound near West Island Crestway. You're backed up on the I-90 bridge over Mercer Island right now. In Tukwila, a crash is blocking a lane on southbound I-405 near State Route 181. In Bothell, a crash is partially blocking the I-405 southbound off-ramp to westbound State Route 522. You're still backed up on 522 to Costco and on 405 to about I-5. Traffic brought to you by Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 80. It's 63 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show, Tuesday morning edition. Also an edition where Gee is really struggling right now.
Hey,
I've never heard you sniffle this much.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say all of you all that are texting in ideas, Brett and Olympia, I see you, and everybody. Thank you.
Goodfellas, vitamin C, citrus, Benadryl.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Neti pot. Did you order a neti pot?
I don't know.
Is that the thing
but I did just DoorDash some, I got some Flonase that's going to get here, and I'm going to try something. But I just got to tell you, like, you've never seen me like this.
No.
Am I right? Yeah,
No.
I've never been like this.
Yeah, no,
So,
this is...
That's all right. We're going to have some fun, though.
Okay,
We're going to get through
you're
it.
calling it allergies, and I'm hoping you're correct.
I'm going to take a COVID test.
Okay, yeah.
All right, what we got?
Okay, well, summer is officially here, and this is basically peak tourist time.
Yeah.
Lots of folks packing into Pike Place Market, going to Seattle Mariners games, going to the museums. But you know who is not waiting in line for those Seattle tourist attractions anymore? Apparently, locals.
The locals.
Yeah. So what is happening? And we asked you to text us. Our text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. In fact, I'm going to ask Sophia if you could put it also on our Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page. What would it take to get you to visit some of the Seattle attractions?
Well, Ursula, so I talked about this on Seattle's Morning News, and I'm going to throw this to you and to the listeners right now. Right now, what they did was Pike Place Market right now, as you all know, is the #1 attraction in Seattle. Surveys conducted between February of 2024 to February 2025 show that 31% of the adult population in Seattle has visited Pike Place at least once in a year. Ursula, you been?
I have.
Okay. Now,
I've been 3 times,
okay,
actually, in this past year.
Sophia, you been?
I've been, yeah.
Okay. All right. Nick?
Well, wait a minute.
I've been. Nick, you been?
Within the last, 3 or 4 months, yeah.
Okay, so we are holding up our end of the bargain. But they did also an extensive deal where over the last 5 years, there are attractions downtown that have seen an increase and a decrease. The attraction with the biggest increase, 114% increase over the last 5 years, has been Seattle Storm games.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, people are going to the Seattle Storm games. That is a big deal.
Okay, and I think that there was a time when, even though they were winning championships, the attendance was abysmal.
Yeah.
But would you say that not just Seattle Storm's success, but also Caitlin Clark and the sudden...
all of it's tied together. Oh, yes.
Right? I mean, the sudden interest in women's professional basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that.
Yeah.
But we want you to text in. Texas Freight says, I don't do Seattle attractions anymore because I've already done it. Plus, now you have traffic. And I know he's also said homelessness, crime, so that deters me from going, and no parking. I have always said that if parking was much more accessible, I would be there much more often.
I said exactly that on their show this morning.
Yes.
The parking.
That's the big one for me.
That's what gives you anxiety.
Yes. Right now, in downtown Seattle, I would say, with the exception of a few areas, and even those few areas, the 3rd and Pike, where you used to see a lot of effort has been going into that area to clean it up.
Right.
I would say that downtown Seattle right now is a lot better than Lower Queen Anne. Our sons moved to Lower Queen Anne, and walking around there, walking around Climate Pledge, walking around that whole area, the Dick's restaurant right there. I mean, that is frightening. I will say that. I think a lot has moved to other neighborhoods, and unfortunately, that is one of them.
Right. I think, Ursula, there's a lot of factors for some of you all that say, "Oh, I think I'm afraid to go downtown Seattle." Okay, I actually believe that. That is actually a sentiment that's been around there. But one of the things that even supports even that is that because of the pandemic and when we were all locked down, so let's say you lived in Puyallup or you lived in Kitsap County, in those places, because it was COVID and you were locked down into those areas, you started to be like, oh, I actually like my community. I like shopping and staying down here. So the appeal to go to Seattle has become less. I mean, we're still not back to pre-pandemic levels, but the locals have this sentiment of, well, I've been there, I've done that. Now, again, Pacific Science Center, it is down 24% in the last 5 years.
Yeah, well, the other thing, and by the way, Pacific Science Center, that's a gem. Seattle Center, that's a gem in the city. I know a lot of people think the giant wheel, the big wheel. I haven't even done that.
So I'm glad you brought up the big wheel. The big wheel is down 10% in the last 5 years.
So I want to still hear from all of you. For me, it's parking, but I know for a lot of people too, they just don't have as much money to spend, and all these things cost money.
That's true. That's true. And you parking starts that. I mean, and then all activities surrounding it. Now, I will say this. There is some nice public transit you can get on, and if you do get a chance,
light rail is a great option.
That waterfront, walking around that waterfront is really
it is
nice.
Beautiful. And right now, it truly and they have done so much to the Seattle waterfront.
Yeah,
connecting the market to the waterfront. It's incredible.
Yeah,
you are missing out if you don't go.
Like Estella in Tacoma says, if you live down south and you have the opportunity and you want to go to a waterfront, you go see something nice, sometimes folks don't go to Seattle, they just go right to Ruston. That Ruston Way, which you've been there before, right, Ursula?
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
but I'm sorry, it doesn't hold a candle to Seattle's waterfront, my opinion. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
No.
And
I agree.
That the proximity of all the different things that you can do going to Seattle's waterfront.
Agree.
Again, I mean, and I don't get paid to try to push people to come to downtown Seattle.
Oh,
just FYI.
You don't?
By the way, Val in Shoreline says you have to mention that the Storm play Indiana and Caitlin Clark tonight. It's on TV.
Oh, thank you, Val. Appreciate that. We do need to talk about a fast food chain that is not going to be coming to Seattle, and I want to see if you and or Ursula is upset about this. We'll explain next. Gee Ursula.
KIRO News Radio, the Northwest's trusted news source.
Get the latest from KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
It happened Wednesday morning just after 6 o'clock.
Experienced voices you trust.
Several people hurt after a violent Saturday in Pierce County.
Coverage you depend on.
More from KIRO News Radio's Matt Markovich.
It's as close to a veto warning as you could possibly get.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Kick off your 4th of July weekend with the Mariners Fireworks Show at Seattle's summer home, T-Mobile Park. It's a Mariners patriotic party. Thursday, July 3rd, presented by T-Mobile. Fly ball right field. Sailing back. Gone! Legend Cal Raleigh. Catch Cal and the crew take on the Royals at 7:10. Then stick around as the sky explodes with red, white, and boom. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
J.P. Crawford with a walk-off single. Holy smokes, what a finish.
Lock in your seats now at mariners.com/fireworks and check out the full fireworks lineup this summer, including an 80s night on July 18th and Show Tunes theme on August 1st. Plus, don't miss big-time giveaways like patriotic trucker hats on July 4th and J.P. Crawford basketball jerseys on July 5th. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Washington state. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda with Northwest Hope and Healing. We provide a lifeline to breast and gynecologic cancer patients. Join us at Life in Color, a brunch auction and fashion show on August 17th at the Columbia Collective in Woodinville for an unforgettable afternoon celebrating 25 years of hope and support. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 17th at nwhopeandhealing.org. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details. Oh, it is the time of the season for pests. That's right. No one likes them. No one knows where they come from, but we can all agree no one wants them in their house. Mike Salk here for Crawl Pros, and they have a full-service pest control division now called Pest Pros. They can come to your house and do a full corner-to-corner inspection, take care of any problems, just like they did at my home. This is the time of the year you'll start seeing more ants in and around your home. You may also begin hearing a little buzzing outdoors. Bees, wasps, hornets. If they make a nest on your property, that is a huge nuisance. So please don't try to take care of those nests on your own. Simply call Pest Pros to have any nest removed and destroyed professionally before the problem grows or you and your guest ends up getting stung. Pest Pros is the full-service pest control division of Crawl Pros with eco-friendly treatments to keep ants, stinging insects, and all sorts of critters from making their way into your home. If you're worried about rodents, ants, or other bugs or an issue in and around your home, call Pest Pros or visit gopestpros.com to schedule a free inspection at gopestpros.com.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic has been helping people live longer, healthier lives for more than 25 years. I've recently talked with Dr. Mixon about his approach to proactively focusing on prevention. Dr. Mixon, I first met you in 2009, and I went in there and I told you I wasn't feeling well, couldn't gain any muscle mass, couldn't sleep well, I was stressed out, and you looked at me and you said, yeah, I know what your problem is.
And all we did was we measured your values and we moved
moved your values back to those of a nice, healthy 25-year-old man.
I have taken your blood work to my doctor, and he was shocked. He couldn't believe the depth in which you study my blood.
We need to draw a distinction between living a long time and getting old. And that's what longevity is all about, is we are here to do the measurements and help you fix those problems.
So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Puyallup Tribe's Firecracker Alley is now open. 3509 72nd Street East in Tacoma. Stock up now for the 4th at Puyallup Tribe's Firecracker Alley. Open now through July 4th. With over 100 fireworks stands and a variety of food and beverage options, you're sure to get your 4th of July off to a great start at Firecracker Alley. Don't miss the free fireworks show on July 1st. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
Once again, our friends on Reddit have given us false hope. Despite rumors circulating last week that a sign plastered in Wallingford declared an In-N-Out Burgers was opening up soon, the company told the Seattle Times that they don't currently have any plans to open a Seattle location. They're going to open one a ways away in Ridgefield, Washington, but that opening date is still unclear. First, are you disappointed with that news, Ursula? You or your sons? Because, it's really the young folks that be liking the In-N-Out.
That's not true, because I do like In-N-Out, but I do think it is one of those fast food chains that is overhyped. I don't think it lives up to the hype. That said, every time we're in California, what is one of the first places we go to?
Oh, you go to In-N-Out?
In-N-Out.
Oh, wow.
Also one of the last places. When we used to go visit with our sons, when Stephen was going to UCLA and we would go visit, I mean, that was always the first place.
Is the In-N-Out close to the LAX airport?
Yes.
The one that's right on the side.
Busted.
Yes. It was like the first one we would do. And that very In-N-Out, just to tell you a little funny story, because every time I think of In-N-Out, I think of the last day of our vacation, and we were in a rental car, so we'd always have a rental car. And our youngest son just had to get the what do you call it with that crazy sauce that they would put on the
animal style
fries and burger and this triple burger. I mean, they have it like off the menu. Right. So our son would have to get that, and so we stopped there. And Mark was hesitant because we were already kind of cutting it close for our flight. And what happens? We had one of those. Remember, we drive older cars, right? And we had one of those cars where he accidentally left the key in the vehicle.
Oh, wow.
And so we're there, and here we are. We're at the In-N-Out, basically screwed, thinking, okay, we're going to miss our flight. And you know how the planes go flying right?
Yeah, right there.
Right over your head practically there at the In-N-Out. And I'm just remembering Mark's face when he realized we don't have keys to get into the car. We're already cutting it close for this darn animal-style burger and fry. So anyway, am I disappointed it's not coming to Seattle? I didn't get my hopes up because I got all excited about a sign that was posted on a small vacant grocery store building in our neighborhood, and it said Trader Joe's coming soon. And I was so excited about that. Then I realized until we were informed that no, they're not coming.
Definitely not coming?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, in other fast foodie news, one chain has been voted the most satisfying for the 11th year in a row. And what place might that be? Well, I got to tell you, it's Chick-fil-A. Now, I don't know. That's crazy that it is that. But anyway, according to the American Customer Satisfaction Index, it ranks the highest with a 79 out of 100 in steady customer satisfaction. I want to ask this, Ursula. Is Chick-fil-A, does it always come through? Nick, does Chick-fil-A, Ursula, does it come through? I don't know.
Okay,
I don't have Chick-fil-A usually.
Okay, so you've never been to a Chick-fil-A?
Oh, yes. My good.
When I had Chick-fil-A, and that's another one. And it's one, again, if you go to California, it was really huge in California when we were visiting frequently. So it seemed like we'd always go to Chick-fil-A as well. It's like In-N-Out Burger, Chick-fil-A. And when I finally tried the Chick-fil-A for myself, I was like, it felt kind of dry, like I was choking down this chicken sandwich. However, our sons informed me that it's all about the sauce. And then the other thing is, when we have gone to Chick-fil-A, the service is fantastic.
Yeah, it's impeccable.
Yes.
They win that one.
Yes.
The best sit-down place with a score of 84, Texas Roadhouse. I mean, I've been there like once or twice. Their dinner rolls are good.
Yeah, well, so I would love to know for you, what is the? Okay, you're not a big fast food eater, but when you did fast food,
McDonald's. Ain't nothing better than McDonald's, y'all. Nothing. The nostalgia, the smell, because McDonald's tastes the same as you did when you were a kid. It brings back memories. Even if you eat a regular McDonald's cheeseburger, there's a part of you that's thinking like, "Where's my toy?" You know what I mean? Like, for real. You were like, "Where's my toy?"
I want to hear from Sophia and Nick. Like, what is your number one fast food? If you're doing fast food, what are you guys doing for fast food?
See, that's the thing. I grew up in California, so I have a soft spot for In-N-Out. So like this is a thing for me. I don't really think. I guess like late night Taco Bell. I don't.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of a winner, I guess.
Nick.
More recently, I'll admit Chick-fil-A has a soft spot for me. I love the sauces, and it's something you can rely on. But when I was younger, each place has good items, I'll say. There's not one place that's overall good. Like, I'll say McDonald's has good fries, but Burger King has the good burgers. What I would do is I'd hop on over to McDonald's. I get, a drink and some fries over there. And then I'd hop over to Burger King and get myself the burger. That's the perfect meal for me.
Yeah, I've done that. Hey, well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
See, in my perfect world, sorry, G, in my perfect world, if we're talking purely fast food, I would take the Burger King burger because I like that grill. And then I would take the McDonald's fries.
Yeah.
I just don't have time to go to. If I'm going to do it.
Right. I look, again, if I'm going to have some fast food, which, by the way, I don't want y'all to think I don't, because I do. If I'm going to have fast food, question, is Jimmy John's considered fast food? Because I'm going to tell y'all right now.
Oh, that's good.
That Jimmy John's, that's my once a week Sunday night flavor right there. Every Sunday night, I had at Jimmy John's.
Something about that bread.
Oh, man, life is good.
I'm going to age myself. I'm going to age myself right now. But I miss Arby's.
I've always wondered who went to Arby's. I would drive by them. Does anyone eat at Arby's?
Same. And watch. And the thing about Arby's is Arby's lovers, they take it personal. Watch the text line. Watch the text line.
I didn't know they had fans.
Oh, they have fans. We even did a survey on the Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page. And people went ham.
I'd argue.
No pun intended when you were dissing Arby's.
I'd argue that nobody Gen Z and below know what Arby's is about. Arby's is a straight up ex-boomer restaurant.
I will say, back in the day, you get yourself, the au jus with the French dip at Arby's. It was pretty good.
I've never been inside one in my life.
Yeah, okay. Julie B's asking, I miss it. We still have Arby's. Yeah, they're just not that close by. There used to be one right there near Northgate. Gone.
All right, everybody. Coming up at 10 o'clock, we're going to get to what's new. We will have a ceasefire update conversation. We'll do that next. Gee and Ursula.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
A big story developing this morning.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We get the latest live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Huge impacts for Boeing and Boeing workers.
The office, the gym, anywhere.
Water, like taxes, goes all the way down to the bottom, so it'll either come out of the employee's paycheck or the lack of raise.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with some great news. I'm with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, You guys just increased your community coverage.
That's right, Brock. We like to say we're in your neighborhood. We have you covered here at IRG. We just added 2 fantastic locations. One is in Harbor Square in the Edmonds Bowl, and the other one is in the Mill Creek Town Center, right to the entrance to Mill Creek Town Center. So we'll be able to provide fantastic care to all of us and everybody's neighborhood.
You know I love it. Expert physical and hand therapy right in your neighborhood.
That's right. We're in your neighborhood. We want to be your neighborhood family physical therapist. We'll take care of you, your family, and your neighbor.
And remember, no referral needed. Just personalized care when and where you need it. Visit irgpt.com and schedule your appointment today. With over 40 convenient locations, IRG is right in your neighborhood, and now 2 new spots as well. That's irgpt.com, irgpt.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Download the KIRO Newsradio app, where you can watch us live or stream us live anywhere, anytime.
How would this initiative, whatever this initiative is, how would he fund it?
Stay connected everywhere. Download the KIRO Newsradio app.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. More fiber?
What?
Down here, buddy. It's me, your spoon. Constipation with belly pain still coming back.
Yeah.
Talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, but Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Cars for Kids, your trusted charity for car donations, also accepts donations of boats, RVs, motorcycles, and real estate. Call today, 877-CARS4KIDS.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. As he headed off for a NATO summit in Europe, President Trump blamed Iran and Israel for violating a ceasefire. But then, as CBS's Ed O'Keefe reports, he now says one is in place.
The White House telling us that he spoke directly with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and as the White House says, he was, quote, exceptionally firm and direct with Prime Minister Netanyahu about what needed to happen to sustain the ceasefire. Israeli media reporting similarly that they did speak and that Netanyahu seemed to be getting the message.
Well, CBS's Holly Williams has more on the limited back and forth today.
One Iranian missile hit a residential building early this morning in southern Israel. At least 4 people were killed. And then after the ceasefire went into effect, Israel said that Iran launched 3 missiles, although there was no damage, no casualties. And then Israel said that it retaliated by destroying a radar array inside Iran.
The Trump administration today postponed classified briefings for members of Congress about the U.S. attacks on Iran's nuclear sites. As CBS's Michael Wallace tells us, ICE has taken 11 Iranian nationals into custody.
The crackdown spanned 8 states. One of those arrested had been on a terror watch list since February. He was picked up outside of Jackson, Mississippi, Sunday. Agents also arrested a former member of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in St. Paul, Minnesota, and a former Iranian army sniper in Alabama. All 11 who were arrested were facing criminal charges, not just immigration violations.
In Gaza today, Palestinian reports say Israeli forces opened fire toward people waiting for aid, at least 44 killed. Record-shattering temperatures near or topping 100 in the early summer heat wave in the eastern half of this country.
Heat alerts are posted in parts of every state east of the Mississippi River except Wisconsin and Florida, with more than 160 million Americans under the heat alerts. Emily Rogers and her kids in Portland, Maine, plan to head to the water to beat the heat.
So we definitely want to be at the beach today, tomorrow. We might go to a pool with some friends tomorrow.
Dozens of centuries-old daily high record temperatures could be broken along the East Coast today. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
The prosecution has rested its case in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. 34 witnesses were called. The defense presentation is expected to be brief. President Trump says he wants the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates now. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell told Congress today any decision on that is down the road.
A significant majority of the committee, but also there's a pretty significant minority that doesn't agree, but a significant majority feels it will be appropriate to reduce rates later this year.
The Dow is up 500 points. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business with Progressive and get 24/7 coverage. See if you can save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
A development in the search for a man accused of killing his daughters near Leavenworth. The story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Fife, a crash is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound near 54th Avenue East. You are backed up to State Route 18. You're slow on State Route 18 from the Tiger Mountain Summit, almost up to I-90. Your crash has been cleared from I-90 eastbound near West Island Crestway. The I-90 bridge is nearly wide open right now, and it looks like crashes on southbound I-405 in Tukwila and one in Bothell have both cleared. Your backups are breaking up in both areas. Traffic brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. For the first time since his 3 young daughters were found murdered near Leavenworth, authorities are acknowledging Travis Decker may have died in the wilderness.
In a statement, Kittitas County Sheriff Clay Myers says after 24 days of searching, there's still no definitive evidence Travis Decker is alive. Walla Walla County Sheriff Mark Kreider, who's a former FBI agent who searched for the Olympic Park bomber Eric Rudolph, told me just last Friday this day might come.
Pretty much at this point when the trail goes cold, it's just remaining vigilant.
Kittitas County is now dedicating some of its deputies to recovery efforts for Decker. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
A man dies in a confrontation with Pierce County Sheriff's deputies. Lakewood Police Sergeant Charles Porsche says the suspect tried to set fire to a Parkland gas station yesterday.
Definitely concerning, especially given the nature of that particular business.
He says deputies spotted the man a block away, and moments later, one deputy opened fire and killed him. A use of force team is investigating exactly what led up to the shooting. A Tulalip man accused of driving a car off the Edmonds Ferry dock last week has been charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. Body cam video here of the rescue.
I think they launched pretty far. Not sure. We can't even see where the car is at.
There were 5 people in the vehicle. 2 of them, both women in their 40s, died. Police tell the Seattle Times the man charged with their murders, 29-year-old William Russell Leonard, had stolen the car from his ex-girlfriend a couple days earlier. Another measles case in our state. 2 people in a Whatcom County family have now tested positive for the highly contagious disease. One of them was at the Family Care Network Urgent Care Facility in Linden, June 18th. If you were at that clinic around that time and aren't sure you're immune to measles, you'll want to contact your primary care provider. A Mariners catcher continues to rewrite the record books.
Cal Raleigh has become the first Mariner in history to hit 10 or more home runs in 3 consecutive months.
That was home run number 32 for the Big Dumper. The M's beat the Minnesota Twins yesterday 11-2. The teams face off again today in Minnesota at 4:40. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 80. It's 65 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Tuesday, June 24th. And boy, I talked a lot about Arby's in that last time, and whoo, some of you all woke up. Matter of fact, you had more to say about Arby's than you did about the ceasefire situation that's going on with Israel and Iran. Good morning, Ursula.
What does that tell you about where we are in the world today? I think people are exhausted.
Yeah.
Exhausted,
no question.
Stressed out, and looking for any opportunity to think of anything other than what is actually going on in the world. And for all you folks who are typing in and texting us about Arby's, I'm with you on that one. And I resemble the comment that someone said Arby's would do really well next to retirement homes.
Yeah, it would be. It's funny you said retirement because Ernie and Kent says Arby was his go-to. So, yeah, definitely.
Okay, how you feeling, G? Are you hanging in there? Okay, text us. Text us with your cold remedies, too.
Longest 9 o'clock hour in show history.
888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. I'm not going to let G leave today because I've missed you.
Yeah. I got this good old Flonase, though.
Okay, you're getting all sorts of deliveries today, too.
All right.
Okay, hey, coming up at 10:30, just real quick, we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about the Mariners. And I want to ask all of you, is Cal Raleigh getting enough credit for how good he is?
Good he is or that bad is?
Oh, see, you're giving credit to the bat? I'm thinking it's Cal Raleigh. So we're going to have that discussion coming up at 10:30. Text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
What's new at 10?
And this is a story that you sent us, G, because it was on King 5, and they're talking about some local economists who are saying that we should be worried about a recession. I mean, this is a word that we've been throwing around here for a couple of years, but they're saying that imports and exports through the ports of Seattle and Tacoma are going down. And they quoted Steve Belaski, who is the director of business development at the Northwest Seaport Alliance. And he is saying that a drop of imports in May are reflecting the new U.S. tariffs, with imports down 30% in April. And so I know that this is a story that caught your attention.
It did catch my attention. And first thing is, yes, you have the drop in imports, exports, all those things. But what really stands out is, Ursula, the uncertainty that is happening amongst a lot of us, especially small businesses and businesses alike. We have, and we've reported over the time, there have been layoffs by the big companies. And, of course, the latest with Amazon talking about the potential of AI coming in being some of the reasons as to that. We have seen Microsoft. Mm-hmm. They have had layoffs. But we've seen the big companies lay off. We've seen restaurants go out of business. We've seen small businesses go out of business, being hard to keep up with, wages to pay their employees and all those things. But right now, the uncertainty with so much things going on, and you could pick one, whatever it might be, whatever area of concern when it comes to the economy that there is. Just recently, over the weekend, we didn't know what was going on. On Saturday, the nuclear sites of Iran gets bombed. Did we ask this? Did anybody call up their financial advisor and ask, hey, if the United States, if there is a potential war, what do I do with my money? So, Ursula, a lot of things are coming and going into place when it comes to the potential of a recession because nobody knows exactly what to do.
Well, here's my question for you and all of you listening right now. Have you done anything differently? And where are you seeing signs of the potential of being in a recession, where I know that there are some economists who say we're already in it, but where are you seeing some pullback?
Let's go with
or personally, where are you doing it?
Well, first I want to go with the businesses and some people that own restaurants and things. They are seeing it right away with their cost of meats, right? Going to the restaurant stores, there has been a huge increase in that. As for me, am I doing anything different? Fortunately, I'm just listening to what my financial person tells me, because I was this past weekend, I was ready to come Monday to pull all my money and let it sit because I didn't know what was going to go on. But I'm putting myself on, I just told myself, I said, self, you are on a 60-day buying freeze.
Oh.
Yeah, I need to.
Okay, this is new.
Yeah, this is new. New to me, too. So I'm going to say. Hey, wait. Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday, so when did it start? Monday?
It started Monday.
Okay, yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I only got 58-ish days to go.
Okay.
So I am on that, but it is alarming. I talked to someone who is high up in the grocery industry, and has said that there had been layoffs, and as a matter of fact, you confirmed that.
Yes. So if you shop at Fred Meyer or QFC, some stores could soon be on the chopping block. Kroger, which owns both chains, says it plans to close about 60 stores nationwide over the next year and a half. And the company made the announcement alongside its first quarter earnings report this week, but didn't say which stores are going to go. So as you may or may not know, Kroger runs more than 2,700 stores across 35 states. There are close to 60 QFCs in Oregon and Washington, and more than 130 Fred Meyer locations throughout the Pacific Northwest. And the company says, yeah, we're going to try to hire people from these locations. They're going to have to shut down. But again, this is, affecting grocery stores. The thing that's crazy to me, I've got to share this. The thing that's crazy to me is where I don't see any sort of pullback and any sign of recession is when it comes to people traveling. When we see the number of people who go through the airports, when we see the number of people who are on cruise ships, as I saw recently. It's amazing to me the number of people who are still traveling a lot, if not more than they usually do.
Lily and I have talked about this, and we talked about the amount. And you're right, Ursula. When you go to SCA, you go travel anywhere. You're not like, oh wow, it's empty in here. No, it's always packed. And here's what I truly believe. I believe more people now, this is a feeling that I have, I think more people now are walking around with more credit card debt.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's more credit card debt today. And if you're listening right now, you don't even have the answer. I want to just want to ask it. Do you have more credit card debt than normal for yourself?
I've asked our producer today, Sophia, to check and see what the level of credit card debt is in America today, because I think you're absolutely right.
You already asked her to look that?
AI will confirm it here shortly. But wow. Okay, so you said that you're going to put a 60-day freeze on your
all my money that's invested. I'm not touching it. I'm letting that.
206 texted in and said, my personal pullback is I've been cutting my own hair. I haven't been to a salon in a year. By the way, I mean the prices are going up too. I just got my hair cut, and I love the woman who does my hair. I think she's an artiste. I think she's fantastic. Yeah. But when she told me that the haircut alone was $80,
oh yeah,
I'm like, ow.
I mean, well, Ursula, in all fairness, though, you can see your $80 cut.
Thank you.
That's a good cut. You know what I mean? Now you could have.
Thank you. I didn't count.
You could have said
what the coloring was and all that stuff. That's in the hundreds.
The coloring looks great, but the cut looks good.
Yeah, thank you.
Right now, you could have made a deal and been like, "Hey, let me go get a $20 cut."
Yeah, no.
And we'd be able to see that.
But she said, I have to raise my prices, even if it's just a trim.
Before we move on to this topic, and I think it is important. But by the way, did you find out the credit card debt? Because I have a question for you, Ursula, on your stuff.
I did.
What is
it's roughly 103 million Americans that have credit card debt currently.
And it is up. It has gone up. The number of...
I believe so, yes.
Yes, so that's what I want you to type in and find out. If it's 360 texted and said casinos are still doing well. Yeah, that's another place where I've seen, like, if we're in a...
They're not...
maybe people are spending money. Not Vegas.
Vegas casinos are down when it comes to visitors. The youngsters, Nick and all his friends, they do the sports betting, but they're not going to the casinos.
Yeah.
So it's
and
down.
I'm not convinced that that's a good place to look and see whether we're in a recession because a lot of times people go to casinos and they don't have money to spend, but they're going anyway.
But I don't want to get away from this topic. I want to ask you now, okay? So, by the way, no, Ursula's not retiring anytime soon.
No.
However, it will happen within the next 10 years, fair?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so I want to ask you and long live Mark, have you guys, in your financial situation, have you started to look at it or do things different, potentially?
I will say yes. I will say yes, but we've also had some things happen that put us in a much better position. And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay,
because
fair.
I am not the best barometer. I know of people, I know what my parents went through. If they were still alive today, they would be just hurting that much more.
Mm-hmm.
I know people who are really struggling to make everything look good for their retirement or what they had originally planned. And I know that a lot of folks will probably text in and say, yeah, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes this next story that much more surprising, though, because it's already expensive to live here in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw this story in the Seattle Times. There is a new house on the market that is being listed for $79 million. It's in Bellevue. It is a mansion by all stretches of well, you don't even have to stretch your imagination. It is a mansion. We're talking about more than 16,000 square feet, over 3 acres. It is waterfront, over 400 feet of waterfront viewing, 10 bathrooms, a massive swimming pool. It was designed in 2016 by a local architect. I'm just curious because we're now talking about ridiculousness here.
Mm-hmm.
If you had that kind of money, would you be putting it into a house that is $80 million?
Yes. You guys were talking about this in the car, and I when I was in the car, we're having a conversation, and on purpose, I did not comment because I just let you all speak. And Ursula says, full transparency, she's like, I just don't see it. I don't understand how somebody can do that. And Ursula, the thing is I say the thing of how you do anything is how you do everything. You see, you don't right now, you don't have $100 million, do you? I just want to make sure. Okay. So, Ursula, you don't have $100 million.
Thanks for clarifying.
You don't have $100 million.
No.
However, what you do have, you still live below your means. You don't get the extravagant cars and all that stuff. So, I believe you when you say, even if you did have that type of money, you would not dump that much money into a house. 16,000 square feet of home. You wouldn't do that.
No.
I would. Because why? Because I have that type of personality. You know, so some people have that and some people don't. Some people are like, no, I don't want that. But I could see myself doing it. And then after a while being like, that was the dumbest thing in the world. I'm going to go ahead and sell. And I believe that's what happened here.
See, I love the idea of having 400 feet of waterfront viewing and that kind of thing. But even if I had that amount of money, like $80 million, like where does that go? Does it still appreciate that much more? Maybe someone in real estate can tell me that, but I mean, that's a big chunk of change. And by the way, folks are texting in saying $80 is just very reasonable for a haircut. So I will take back what I said. It was just a lot more than what I was paying.
I don't want to leave this topic because when we have conversations on our show, we truly don't want to make anybody feel less than. So when I made the comment about credit card debt, right, in that conversation, number one, I stand by that. I do believe that people are carrying more credit card debt today than ever before. That's one. However, two, I remember a time ago, Ursula and I were talking about this topic. And I remember Ursula said, and if you remember this, Ursula, as well, we came back and you were talking about it. You said, look, you know what? Sometimes you got to take that trip, right? In life, right? Sometimes you take that vacation, even if sometimes it's a little bit much on your credit card and you probably, that's a little bit out of my price range. But because life is never promised tomorrow is not guaranteed. So sometimes, there are people right now that's like, yeah, gee, I took that vacation and maybe I shouldn't have, and I have a little extra credit card debt, but I had this moment, or I was able to see this aunt, or I was able to see this family member. So I just want to say I don't want anybody to feel bad, because whatever your reasonings are is your reason.
Yeah, the thing with the credit card debt, though, if it is runaway credit card debt, it just ends up biting you in the short and long term. And while I agree with you that no day is promised, and you want to take some of those trips and that kind of thing, you don't want to do it to the point where now you're drowning in debt.
Right.
I would never say that. And the AI answer to the question, are Americans carrying more credit card debt today? While the average number of credit cards held by each person has slightly decreased since 2017, the total outstanding credit card balances have reached record highs.
Boom. There it is. So, Ursula, you mean to tell me if you were worth $500 million, you would not drop $60-70 million on a crib?
If I'm worth $500 million?
$500 million.
Yeah, then maybe, because just...
That's what I'm saying. There's people here with a bunch of money. You know what I mean? So to go get
What do you do with 10 bathrooms? Seriously, what do you do with 10 bathrooms? Do you have a different one for each day?
No, I'm going to answer it. I got a real answer for you. The same thing you do with anything extravagant. Show it for the gram. When you have, you're the one. Do you all have that family member? Name the family member right now in your mind. The family member that always wants to do things at their house so they can show it off. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. You guys can have your graduation, and you can have your bar mitzvah. You coming on over to my house, right? You got that person, right? So if you got 10 bathrooms, you're going to want to show your crib off, Ursula. 10 bathrooms. How many people? Have you ever been to a house with 10 bathrooms? Because I haven't.
I haven't, but Ernie Kent just texted in and says, that's a beautiful home. I would definitely pay for that if I could afford it.
Yes!
He says you can't take it with you.
Nick, if you was worth $500 million, would you buy an $80 million home?
I'd get overwhelmed with how much maintenance and cleaning you'd have to do with the place.
Thank you.
All the people you'd have to hire to, upkeep the place. You'd probably have to hire someone to cook for you, too. You'd be so overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah. Sounds terrible. Sounds terrible. All right. At 10:47, we do have scenarios. At 10:30, it's interesting because for the last couple years, people kept saying that one guy was going to be the next superstar for the Mariners. However, it's turning out that this other guy is the actual superstar of the Mariners, and we're going to talk about him next. Is he a superstar, and does he have help?
Is he getting enough credit? And are you giving too much credit to that special bat? I think you caused a few people to be a little upset with you.
That's what I do on the show. All right, we'll do that next. Gee Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
The Jake and Spike Show.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
Seattle is the nation's most male-skewed major city. There's more men in Seattle. They say in the article here, they said the most masculine city, but I absolutely disagree with that.
You've seen the men in this town.
Exactly.
Please. It's not like it's 80-20.
No,
that's when it's hard to meet a lady.
That's true.
When there's 4 guys for every girl. That's when it's here come the bride's time.
The Jake and Spike Show.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
On KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Hi, it's John Curley. I've been a patient of Longevity Medical Clinic since 2009, and Longevity Medical Clinic has been helping people live longer, healthier lives for more than 25 years. You know what's amazing, Doctor? the feelings that you have after just a couple of months, you sleep better, your strength and vitality, it is evident that it works. It's really a mindset, though, Dr. Mixon, because a lot of people, well, this is what's supposed to happen.
Let us help you be stronger, faster, leaner, smarter, sexier, but most important, happier. I'm less impressed by how many years I might live, but how much I live during my years. You know, the option is here. Nobody's going to make you go to longevity, but the opportunity is there, and all you have to do is take advantage of it. I don't know why anybody would not want to do what we do.
And that's where Longevity Medical Clinic comes in. So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better, live stronger. Start now.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Smoked paprika in your go-to goulash? That's go-go goulash. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion and provide better access to SeaTac. Open soon, free through summer.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A warning that Iran might launch cyber attacks now that the U.S. has hit nuclear sites in Iran. CBS's Michael Wallace on what you should know.
Indrajit Ray at Colorado State University warns our power grid and water systems are vulnerable.
Launching a cyber attack is actually not very expensive.
Ray says hackers could get into our smartphones, which are linked to our smart thermostats and water meters.
The launching pad will be exploiting these devices, and then they can be leveraged to get into the electrical power grid.
Ray says people need to make sure their passwords are secure, and they've downloaded the latest software and security updates for their devices. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
President Trump is accusing both Iran and Israel of violating the ceasefire he helped broker between the two countries.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either.
It's unclear exactly when the ceasefire was supposed to start, and nearly 2 weeks of missile strikes between Iran and Israel and the U.S. military strike on Iran. The Trump administration was supposed to brief Congress today about those U.S. strikes, but it's postponing that. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Senators deserve full transparency. There is a legal obligation for the administration to inform Congress about precisely what is happening. What are they afraid of?
The National Transportation Safety Board today is holding a hearing to determine the exact cause of the door plug blowout on a Boeing 737 MAX near Portland last year. But NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy says Boeing audits, warnings by employees, and alerts from regulators were all red flags.
In other words, the safety deficiencies that led to this accident should have been evident to Boeing and to the FAA.
Board members are also expected to approve recommendations to keep something similar from happening again. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell today telling members of Congress.
Despite elevated uncertainty, the economy is in a solid position.
Even so, he says concerns over tariffs and inflation will likely cause the Fed to postpone dropping interest rates. Well, if you saw that in and out poster in Wallingford in Seattle, don't get too excited. It showed a coming 2026 sign with a logo of the popular burger chain, but the company tells the Seattle Times the rumors are false. They are coming to Washington, but the first spot is in Ridgefield near Vancouver. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 467 points, NASDAQ ahead 287. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Monroe, a crash is traffic alternating on eastbound US 2 near Roosevelt Road. You're jammed up to 100th Street Southeast. In Fife, a crash is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound near 54th Avenue East. Your backup extends now onto State Route 18 past Weyerhaeuser Way South. And you're slow on State Route 18 also from the Tiger Mountain Summit up to I-90. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 80. It is 65 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. And this is a show that we want to talk about some stuff that we can all rally around. And maybe one of those topics would be Cal Raleigh. I mean, he is having this phenomenal season.
It's been incredible.
Yeah, it really has been. So I want to take a look at some of these statistics. Okay, so he's obviously the Seattle Mariners catcher, and he had his, 32nd home run of the season Monday against the Minnesota Twins. And he's already made history by having the most first half home runs by a catcher. He's now 2 home runs away from matching his single season career high before the All-Star game. And then he also is on pace to shatter the single season record for most home runs hit by a catcher ever, which currently belongs to Kansas City Royals backstop Salvador Perez, who had 48 home runs in 2021. But we have paid so much attention to Julio Rodriguez, and seems to be the season of Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, it has been. And a lot of attention was paid to because, a few years ago, Julio Rodriguez had such a start in his first campaign here with the big leagues in the Seattle Mariners. And then last year he kind of struggled a little bit, and then he kind of caught fire towards the end. And then, coming into this year, Cal Raleigh at the beginning of the season signed a $100 million contract. Some felt like, maybe if he would have waited a little bit longer, he could have got more money. I tell you what, if he would have waited, he would have got a lot. So first, the Mariners are excited about that deal, and so was Cal Raleigh. He was excited about that deal to stay. Secondly, he's a gem of a personality. He's a great dude. He's great for Seattle. He's great for the Mariners. 32 home runs so far before the All-Star break. If you go back to when Barry Bonds was doing this thing, if you all have heard of Barry Bonds had 39 before the All-Star break. Just to let you know what category and what comparisons that Cal Raleigh is in right now. I love what's happening. I think that home runs equal a lot of greatness when it comes to baseball. I think home runs brings even the pedestrian fan to watch the game. And Cal Raleigh literally has been carrying the Mariners all season. When Cal Raleigh hits the ball and does well, they do well.
Now, Nick, I want you to weigh in because I know that you are a huge baseball fan.
Well, and I know he's getting a lot of credit in the league right now, but I would go as far out to say he's not even getting enough credit as it is right now. Because
that's what I wanted to know.
And I even think you could go as far as say he should be a leading MVP candidate, which I believe he should be the leading MVP candidate because he has the most votes for the American League in terms of the All-Star game. He's the player who has the most votes overall, not just as being a catcher, but as a player. But if you were to ask somebody who's the MVP in the American League right now, they would probably say the Yankees' Aaron Judge. But that, I think, has a lot to do with the fact that he is a Yankee. And I would say if he wasn't a Mariner, if he was on the East Coast playing for the Red Sox and Yankees,
my goodness,
he would be the leading top-tier candidate for the MVP right now, which is why I'm saying there's sort of a West Coast bias when it comes to the MLB. They prefer a Yankee or a Red Sox or even maybe like a Cub or a Brave or some more popular team to be the MVP. So I would go out to say Raleigh isn't getting enough credit, but I like that because when you're more under the radar, I feel like maybe the Mariners perform better.
Great point on that too as well, Nick. And does he not get enough credit? Does being a catcher have anything to do with it too? Is that kind of an unusual position for someone to have?
No,
and this is a naive question on my part.
No. To Nick's point is there's always been East Coast bias, right? Always when it comes to the sports world. And when it comes to this market, not saying that Seattle isn't a top 15 market or whatever when it comes to sports. You all know we have the Seahawks. We have a stolen basketball team that just won the NBA Finals on Sunday. But we don't get a lot of credit. Like when Nick talks about this dude being MVP, also the year before, not only was he a Gold Glove Award winner for outstanding defensive performance, my man was a Platinum Glove winning catcher. Guess how many other Mariners have won the Platinum Glove for the Mariners?
How many?
Just Cal Raleigh.
He's the only one.
He's the only
Seriously?
one. Like this dude.
Dan Wilson didn't?
This dude, Cal Raleigh, is just insane.
And then I love his nickname.
Nick, I don't really like that big dumper nickname. But Nick, I think you nailed it. If Cal Raleigh was on any team on the East Coast, man, he'd be all over ESPN all day long.
It's already unprecedented for a catcher to be leading the league in home runs. And let's say he is at the end of the season leading the league in home runs. It's still up in the air whether or not he would win MVP just because I think there is a West Coast bias. I think it'd be hands down catcher leading the league in home runs. That's an MVP candidate. That's an MVP winner.
See, I agree. You've convinced me, Nick. Okay, but CBS Sports is also pointing something else out. The fact that he's had this season and he's doing it, in a team like the Seattle Mariners that isn't used to having such huge home run totals. And then also talking about our ballpark, which isn't a home run friendly. No, correct me if I'm wrong. But
they talk about the Marine layer. They talk about it not being a home run friendly park. Yeah, it's been said. You're right.
Okay, what about the bat though? I know you brought it up.
You know what?
And then you haven't brought it up.
I'm gonna defer to Nick.
Okay.
I don't think it's an issue. I think it's fair use for all the league. If anyone wants to use it, they can.
Okay, so he's using that special bat. What is it called?
I think it's the torpedo bat. There's just more weight put towards the middle of the bat rather than, going out and extending toward where the bat is like the longest at the end of the bat. It's like more like a stubble in the middle,
Is Julio using that bat too?
I believe so. There are some players who still use it.
Do you remember? I know you do, Ursula. In the beginning of this season, and I was at the game, and I was behind. I was pretty close to the field.
Yes.
And I told you when Cal Raleigh hit that baseball, and I told you it sounded like an explosion. Nick, you remember that? You remember me telling?
I don't remember the story.
I said it sounded like an explosion. Oh my goodness, with that torpedo bat. It reminds me of the tush push in football. Everybody can do it, but only the Philadelphia Eagles are really good at it. The torpedo bat, everybody can use it,
not
everybody can do what Cal Raleigh doing. So there's that.
Doug in Mount Vernon wants to know, is this the Sniffles and Ursula show?
Of course. You know what? Hey, Doug, sometimes, man, I saw the text.
You had Flonase delivered to you, and you thought it was working, but it worked for about 10 minutes.
I know. It did.
So we'll continue to, unfortunately.
Yeah. The allergies was like, sit down.
Oh.
The allergy said, that's my bike, punk. What movie is that, y'all? Hey, coming up next, we do scenarios. Gee Ursula.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO News Radio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO News Radio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
Listen up, folks. If you think finding chrome hearts is tough, let me tell you, Urbanize has cracked the code. That's right. We're one of the rare stores vetted by Chrome Hearts, giving you the exclusive honor to bring you pieces that scream luxury and style. Forget hopping on a plane to go to Las Vegas. Why bother when you can find an exquisite selection of Chrome Hearts frames right here at Urbanize? They're founded in 1988 in Los Angeles. This brand has worked with legends like Guns N' Roses and the Rolling Stones, and now you can rock their iconic eyewear without the travel hassle. So why wait? Elevate your style with Chrome Hearts at Urbanize. Oh my goodness, where luxury meets accessibility. Swing by today and see why everybody is talking about Chrome Hearts. Urbanize in the heart of Kirkland Urban. Book your appointment with urbanize.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Someone says they're from Medicare? Hang up. Medicare never cold calls. Offered free medical equipment or services? Toss it. It's likely a scam. Got your Medicare statement? Read it. Spot something strange? Report it. You can fight it. The Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner Fraud Prevention Service is free, unbiased, and here for you. Search Washington Medicare Fraud or call 800-562-6900. That's 800-562-6900.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
This could be the oddest gift anyone's ever given me.
But I'll bet you use it.
When the time is right, I suppose.
That's the idea.
A plunger.
An Apollo plumbing plunger.
Free for me?
Actually, free to everyone we visit.
Because?
We believe some things you can do on your own.
And if this plunger can't fix it?
Apollo Plumbing will.
Just like that.
You call, we come. It's fixed.
Wouldn't you rather I just call?
You're welcome to.
Okay.
But for a simple backup,
something I can solve myself,
try your free plunger.
I'll admit it's kind of spiffy.
Apply a little pressure.
And if it still won't clear,
call Apollo Plumbing.
The ready right now plumbers.
Our big blue trucks come stocked full of fixes.
And a plunger wielding plumber.
A clean screen trained and trustworthy Apollo plumber.
They come in a jiffy.
Arriving when promised to put plumbing problems in your past.
And give me a free plunger.
That too.
You know, I kind of like this plunger.
I'm sure it'll come in handy.
Just like Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Cars for Kids, the easy way to donate your car. Donate today and your car can be picked up tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.com or 1-877-CARS4KIDS.
AAA asked me if I would change my name from Sir Mix-a-Lot to Sir Mix-a-Lot. I said, why would I do that? They said, you're more than just a rapper. You're a car collector. You're a businessman. You're an inventor. Just like AAA is more than just towing. They have awesome travel advisors and insurance agents. And they got 3 A's in their name. Maybe I should change my name. Give me 3 A's. Mix, A, mix, A. When I say mix, give me 3 A's. Mix, A.
A word from Progressive Insurance. Life can be hard, so Progressive makes bundling your home and auto easy. Hope that helps. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. You know what time it is. It's time for Scenario.
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
Okay, Ursula, I think this one is right up your alley.
Okay.
My boyfriend has been getting a lot of phone calls lately, and each time he answers, he steps out of the room to talk unless it's his mom or a family member. Sometimes he goes outside or sits in a car and doesn't return for an hour or two. When he comes back, I ask who called, and he just blows it off and says, oh, nobody. Don't worry about it. Last night it happened again. He was gone for almost 3 hours, and when he came back, I said, this is getting ridiculous. Who was that, and what is going on? He told me that he was just handling business, and it doesn't concern me. But who's conducting business at 10 p.m.? Later, as I was falling asleep, he said, you know, you have to leave this alone. Clearly, you don't trust me, and I don't want to be with anyone with trust issues. Something is off, but is anything really wrong? Am I overthinking this? What do you think he might be hiding? And how do I find out? 888-973-5476 is the text line. Ursula, you have to bat first.
Trust your gut. You are correct. What he's doing is shady. The fact that he says you have nothing to worry about, but leaves the room and doesn't explain, he's not respecting you. Even if it is something else, the fact that he leaves the room is acting shady about it. You have every reason to be suspicious. Personally, what should she do? She's done. She's asked him, and he's given her the answer. So my next suggestion would be leave or boot him.
Yep. Good stuff, Ursula. All right, Sophia.
However, to feed the delusions just a little bit, what if the reason he's being shady is that he's making calls about an engagement ring or something like that? And sometimes guys just don't handle those situations very well.
Boy, Sophia.
That's
the optimistic route.
That's like me saying maybe there's trinkets in the back. The back.
Well,
room.
that's just the worst. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he's a terrible person. But best case scenario,
Yes.
he wants to marry you.
So,
Yes.
Sophia, is that your advice to her? Your advice is to look at the other side of this?
I'm just saying, if she wants someone to make her feel better, that's the best option I can give her.
Yeah. What do you think?
The 10 o'clock at night conversation.
3 hours.
The 3 hours, like, yeah, you got to go with your gut. You know what I mean? Like, you know. You know. And have you ever just, when it's in your soul and you feel it, you know. And my man, whether it was for an engagement ring or a surprise birthday party or something, did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
That was so weird. Anyways, whatever it could be, there is no way in the world that he's gone for 3 hours at a time and he's taking that phone call at 10 o'clock at night. And wait. Even if it is a surprise for you in an engagement ring, he is a jerk at least for going to take these calls at 10 o'clock at night and not giving you any type of safety net.
No jeweler, no person in on this big surprise is going to be talking for hours upon hours at these oddball times. But here's my question for you, because we have a little bit of time. I find it rude if anyone says, don't worry about it. Like, if you tell your partner you are concerned or, hey, I've got some question about it, and they just shut you down and say, don't worry about it, that is so disrespectful. And that, to me, is an indication of this is either the beginning of the end or he just does not care about you or she does not care about you. If that is the response, just don't worry about it. No, I've already told you I am worried about it. If you respect the relationship, you're going to take the moment to try to basically allay my fears or confirm them.
When's the last time you've been on the phone for 3 hours? No, for real.
Never. When I was a teenager?
That's what I'm saying.
When I was a teenager?
3 hours?
Going on and on and on about a relationship that was never going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the last time for 3 hours.
Maybe he just really needs clarification on a pear-shaped diamond.
Sophia,
don't even give him an out.
Is there a part of you kind of believe in this?
No, I just want to...
She's trying to be devil's advocate.
Yeah, devil's advocate.
When's the last time you've been on the phone for 3 hours?
I talk to my friends sometimes for that long, but it's because we all live in different places and we only talk to each other like at 6 month increments, you know?
Chocolate has a good one. Look at the phone bill. Google the number.
Chocolate, ain't nobody got time for that.
No. You have time. If you're invested in this relationship and you want to know what's really going on, I'm sorry, but...
Better yet, she could put a microphone in his car.
Ken in Seattle, you might win with this one. Ken in Seattle said maybe it's Jeff from State Farm.
That's always a long conversation.
All right, Nick, what's up, man?
Well, listen, I get it if there was early stages of dating and there wasn't a title for him to go out and have secret talks, but you're locked into this relationship. There should be full transparency with each other. Good point, though, if there's a surprise party or engagement about to happen and planning needs to take place, though, there's a different approach to that, so I'd be raising the question why he's acting up with these 3 a.m. calls.
What's going on?
He could always be in G's shoes, though, asking for allergy relief, but I'm sure it doesn't take that many hours to ask for Flonase to be delivered.
I love Beth in Tacoma. I'm seeing an episode of Cheaters, Joey Greco leading the confrontation.
Hey, Robin Pialat says Sophia is showing her chef influence.
Yes.
Learn from the best.
3 hours, 10 o'clock at night, and you get a don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's rude.
Hey. Tell you right now, if you yourself are in that situation, run. Get out of that. That's not for you. Or maybe it is.
No.
Maybe it is
Generally,
for you.
it's not.
Yeah, you know, maybe. All right. So at 11 o'clock, we're going to do Agree to Disagree at 11:30. That will happen then. But right now, we're going to come back to the top news of the day at 11 o'clock.
And one of the stories is a Seattle student is suing the school district because of harassment from classmates. And we'll tell you why she was targeted. And then also, we want to share some of the feedback you gave us because we asked the question, should those homeowners over on the east side, the 3 homeowners who chopped down more than 140 trees, allegedly, on public property that is protected, should they face criminal charges? And a lot of you are like, yeah, throw the book at them. So we'll talk about that coming up next.
Gee Ursula.
Talk to me so you can see what's going on.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, why did you make the call to First Mark Insurance?
My company has grown to a space where we need a higher level of coverage. A couple of factors led me to say, boy, I really need to find something new. And First Mark really rang that bell.
First Mark save you and your business money?
Oh, yeah. They have decreased overall expense in a couple categories by up to 30%, coverage in a couple of areas by greater than 50%. They've offered coverage in 2 new categories that I think are pertinent for my business, and they've greatly impacted what that coverage and those margins look like.
Kind of wish you made the call earlier.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
Deborah had been living in pain.
I used to not be able to raise my arms even to get dressed. I couldn't do nothing.
She'd ripped her rotary cuffs, and it was finally time to do something about it.
I put up with it for over 2 years, and they wanted to do surgery on one shoulder, and it takes over a year to recover from that, and then you could have the other one done. It's like, no.
No. Instead, Deborah went to Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
My fiance had heard you guys on the radio, and he was asking me about it, and I go, let's go for it.
So how are you feeling now?
I feel good, almost 100%.
So you would recommend this to other people who have similar injuries?
Oh, you bet, in a heartbeat. Definitely. Knees, shoulders, hips.
Knees, shoulders, hips. Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump applied more pressure today on Israel and Iran to uphold a ceasefire. CBS's Haley Ott in Tel Aviv.
Currently, the ceasefire's been holding, but this is a very fragile situation with many volatile parts, so everyone is proceeding with extreme caution.
The Trump administration postponed classified briefings for Congress today as lawmakers sought more answers about the strikes on Iran. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer.
Why won't they engage Congress in the critical details? The results of the recent strike, the scope and trajectory of the conflict, the administration's long-term strategy.
The Senate briefing was rescheduled for later this week so Defense Secretary Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio can attend. President Trump has arrived in the Netherlands for a NATO meeting where Iran will certainly be discussed, but also Russia and Ukraine and NATO defense spending. Linda Kenyon reports.
The president has long criticized NATO, saying member nations were not paying their fair share while the U.S. was paying much more. Trump told reporters he was pleased NATO nations are expected to endorse a goal of spending 5% of their gross domestic product on joint defense. Spain has said it won't reach that target, which the president called, quote, very unfair to the rest of them.
Chanel Cole reports on an NTSB hearing today that looked into why a door panel flew off an Alaska Airlines flight midair last year.
The NTSB now says the bolts that were securing what's known as the door plug panel were removed, and they were never replaced during that repair. So the agency now plans to approve some new recommendations to essentially hope to prevent something similar from ever happening in the future again.
There is dangerous heat in the eastern U.S. Meteorologist Zoe Mintz.
From Georgia all the way up to New York, we are going to be seeing those record highs smashed. It is going to be so hot out there.
Caroline Fontaine is with Duke Energy in the Carolinas.
We are urging our customers to conserve energy between 3 and 8 o'clock this evening. That is typically when we see the peak demand for energy on our grid.
Vicki Barker reports on the latest attempts to repurpose plastic waste.
Researchers at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland have been able to turn plastic waste into painkillers. They genetically modified a harmless strain of E. coli, inserting separate genes from mushrooms and from soil bacteria. The modified E. coli then converted a common form of plastic waste into acetaminophen, the key ingredient in drugs like Tylenol. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
Oil prices tumbled for a second day, and on Wall Street, the Dow is up 522 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Witnesses say a man tried to set fire to a Parkland gas station. What happened next? Coming up. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Seattle, a crash is blocking a lane on Denny Way at Stewart Street. In Monroe, the crash has been cleared from eastbound US 2 near Roosevelt Road. Still waiting for that backup to clear. It does look like your crash is cleared from southbound I-5 and Fife. Your backup is disappearing there. And you're slow on State Route 18 from the Tiger Mountain Summit almost to I-90. Traffic brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A man accused of trying to set a gas station on fire dies in a confrontation with Pierce County Sheriff's deputies.
Lakewood Police Sergeant Charles Porsche tells me the suspect lit a torch to set fire to the Pacific Pride fueling station in Parkland.
Definitely concerning, especially given the nature of that particular business.
Porsche says deputies spotted the man a block away, and moments later, one deputy shot and killed the suspect. No word yet what led to that shooting. No deputies were injured. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
One of the Hillside Stranglers is up for parole this week in Washington State. Tomorrow, the State Parole Board is expected to review the case of serial killer Anthony D'Amato, formerly Kenneth Bianchi. According to the Washington State Standard, he was convicted of killing 2 women in Bellingham in 1979 and helping his cousin murder several others in California. Neighbors are demanding the city of Seattle do more to keep cars from crashing into homes along Rainier Avenue South. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss with the latest incident.
A dark-colored car veering off Rainier Avenue South and crashing down an embankment, slamming into Madeline Jung's home.
I haven't even put in a claim. I'm afraid to because the insurance may cancel me. And my homeowners has gone up threefold.
It's the third time a car has gone off the road and hit her lakefront home since the beginning of last year.
I'm just waiting for the next one.
Neighbors say they're constantly on edge because of speeding and distracted drivers causing property damage.
The Seattle Department of Transportation says it is designing safety improvements, including better lane markings and signs. Mukilteo's mayor has vetoed what would have been the highest sales tax in our state at 10.7%. The city council's passed it by one vote to help fund road repairs, but the mayor tells the Everett Herald he's worried about the impact on businesses and families and that it could deter voters from passing a new emergency services levy. A tough loss for the Seattle Sounders after the local squad faced off against Europe's top team.
Seattle fans gathering in Fremont to watch the Sounders' 0-2 loss to Paris Saint-Germain. Across town, Lumen Field provided the stage for the international matchup, part of the FIFA Club World Cup. DraftKings put a Sounders victory at 15-1 odds. One Sounder fan shared that sentiment.
We just got to realize we don't have a team that can compete at this level.
PSG advancing to the next round. The Sounders have been eliminated. Gwen Baumgartner, KIRO Newsradio.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 80. It's 68 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning, everybody. Ursula, good morning.
Good morning. How you feeling, G?
One more hour.
I know. You are hanging in there. You have been a trooper,
yes,
and
yep.
I am convinced it's not allergies. So take care, my friend. Hey, coming up at 11:30, we are going to do Agree to Disagree. And one of the questions, this one's fun. Sophia came up with a fun one. You've got the ick. Is your relationship doomed? We'll talk about that coming up at 11:30.
That's all these youngsters and this ick stuff. It's not Gen X and baby boomers. I got the ick. I never want to talk to you again.
I mean, but that's kind of existed since the beginning of time.
Yeah, well, we don't do that.
You didn't call it the ick.
You know what I'm saying? You smelled this breath. It was bad for a second. You get over it, you know?
Text us. Maybe people realize, hey, they've got options. Text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
The search for Travis Decker in Kittitas County is now shifting. For the first time, investigators are acknowledging the possibility that the father suspected of killing his 3 young daughters may have died in the wilderness. And our KIRO News Radio reporter, Luke Ducey, has been tracking this story from the beginning. He joins us live.
Yeah, so what we're not saying here is that the search is over. The search is not over for Travis Decker, but really for the first time now, we are hearing the words recovery effort from investigators. Kittitas County Sheriff Clay Myers put out a full-page press release explaining for the last few weeks now his deputies have been tracking dozens of leads and possible sightings of Decker, as well as assisting Chelan County, who has really kind of been leading this investigation. But there is still no definitive evidence Decker is alive, according to the Kittitas County Sheriff. On Friday, I talked with Walla Walla County Sheriff Mark Kreider, who's also a former FBI agent who searched for the Olympic Park bomber, Eric Rudolph. Remember that case from way back in the late 1990s and early 2000s? Well, he told me that the Decker search might be slowing down at some point.
You can do all the profiling, you can do all the research you want. Pretty much at this point, when the trail goes cold and you've exhausted every lead that you can, at this point, it's just remaining vigilant.
Yeah, and part of remaining vigilant, he told me, was, and what he learned from the Rudolph case, they need to keep getting Decker's photo out there because at this point, it's most likely going to take a lucky break, like a hiker seeing something unusual or a cabin owner noticing there was a break-in. Remember a week ago, the search in Kittitas County really ramped up. You know, there was a lot of hope that Decker was possibly going to be found.
Yeah, they really thought they had
east of
cornered
Tle
him, basically.
Yeah, in the Teanaway Valley, in that area, you know, they had tactical teams, canine units, expert trackers in all those remote areas. But again, the sheriff is dedicating some of his deputies now in Kittitas, they say, to recovery efforts. So the big question is Decker alive? They've all been saying that we believe he's alive still because we have no sign that he's not. Or did he die somewhere in the wilderness?
And one of our listeners, Brian in Bellevue, said recovery effort. They know something. It was the possibility that he has died in the wilderness. But again, they're not ruling out the possibility that he did somehow manage to get away. This is someone who had extensive military experience. They thought he could survive possibly in the wilderness. And like you said, I think the important thing is to make sure that we don't lose sight, we don't lose track. It sounds like, they did so much to try to find justice for these 3 young girls.
And they still are. Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, there was a memorial service held for them just north of Wenatchee on Friday. People turned out wearing their girls' favorite colors, purple, green, and pink. And it was a beautiful memorial service.
But beautiful, yeah.
And Mother Whitney spoke for the first time in public and said some just really sweet things about her daughter. So no, nobody in law enforcement is giving up, and they aren't because of those 3 girls. But we're starting to talk about the words recovery effort now.
Yeah, Luke, thank you for tracking this.
Yeah, thank you. That's why I believe that. My opinion has been that he is probably not going to be found alive because. The memorial service that they had, for someone who does a coward act like that to kill, tragically, his 3 kids, will continue, in my opinion, that same effort and continue with that cowardly act on himself rather than to come and face consequences, to have to answer questions about how awful that he is and was. And I just have always believed that whatever happens, I don't think he'd be found alive.
Well, we won't know, but we will bring you any new developments, of course, if we get them. Gee, you know how hard it was to be a teenager. It's hard enough trying to figure out who you are, who your friends really are, where you fit in. But imagine trying to do all that while your classmates are spitting on you, threatening you, banging on your classroom door, all because you're Jewish. And that is what a former Nathan Hale high school student says she had to endure. She was a freshman when the Hamas attack on Israel happened in October of 2023, and she says that is when all the problems started.
I felt scared and personally attacked.
She tells King 5 News students accused her of supporting genocide in Gaza. They put up swastikas on school walls. Someone even told her, quote, Hitler's plan should have worked. And then in May of last year, she says several students went to her classes trying to lure her into the hallway. And by the time she got to her final class, there was a group of about 20 students, she says, that had gathered outside that classroom demanding that she come out. And her teacher even had to lock the door.
We had mostly shut the blinds, but you could see some people trying to look in or banging on the door or yelling, like I said, we know you're in there, come get what you deserve.
What do you think that meant?
I'm not sure I feel comfortable answering that.
Now, her mom says she begged the principal to protect her daughter. In the end, the school's solution was to have her escorted by an adult at all times, which, that lasted for a day. Yeah. Now the family is suing Seattle Public Schools. And the district says, we're going to review and address the allegations, but so far they haven't said exactly what they're going to do to tackle that kind of behavior and anti-Semitism at Nathan Hale. The student says she's trying to rebuild at a new school. She says now that she's out of there, she finally feels safe again.
Yeah, and I'm glad she feels safe again. I read this entire thing, and then there was something that stood out to me because King 5, they were the ones who did this interview, and they asked the district whether any steps had been taken to address anti-Semitism on campus. As of Monday evening, according to this, the district had not responded to any of those specific questions. So I find it interesting, Ursula, that if they would have put out a statement in addressing this specific topic, they would have at least said, hey, we do have proper plans and things in place. We will go ahead and review this. Maybe they decided not to do that. So I wonder and I question if they have not answered that question, if there have been any steps taken to address anti-Semitism on campus I worry if they even have.
Or anti-Semitism and any kind of bullying, because, I mean, if it got to the point where they were able to gather outside a classroom and try to lure her out and demand that she come out, and then, I mean, what are the repercussions for these students who allegedly did this? The reason the district is not saying a whole lot is because now there's a lawsuit. Why does it have to get to the point of a lawsuit? Yeah, I mean, that is awful and frightening and really disappointing if, all these allegations are true and something that horrific happened. No student should be subjected to that at all. And then the other thing I got to ask is, like, what are you learning at home or when it comes to bullying and I know.
I mean, do we really want to have the conversation about bullying? Do we want to have the conversation about where a lot of this is coming from? The horrible examples. Now, it's the 11 o'clock hour, and I know y'all don't want to get G going, but let's be real. If we're going to really talk about bullying, and we're going to talk about awfulness, and we're going to talk about being exclusive with other groups and things.
Yeah. Okay.
Punching down on marginalized communities. This is bigger than just high school students. It's the adults that they're learning these things from.
Yeah, exactly. Leave it there. They're learning this behavior, and where are they learning this behavior? Okay. Earlier, we talked about trees, and we're going to do this segment right now.
You be the judge.
Because we asked all of you what should happen. So King County is suing several Issaquah homeowners, accusing them of illegally cutting down more than 140 trees on protected public land because they wanted to improve their views of West Tiger Mountain. So we got this story from King 5 News, and they spoke with a neighbor, Caitlin McNulty, who says that the homeowners clearly thought no one was going to notice those trees gone.
I imagine that they thought there was a very low probability of anyone finding out, right? It's like no one goes up to that specific area of the park. It would have been really hard for someone to have known that this happened. And I think the only reason we did is that, like, we had that wildlife cam.
So the county is now seeking nearly $7 million in damages. The county says the illegal chopping down of those trees caused major and even generational harm to a protected natural area. And the King County Prosecutor's Office said that, there could potentially be criminal charges if this case is forwarded to them. And we asked the question, should criminal charges be filed? Your answer was?
Yes. Criminal charges should be filed.
My answer was no, but I'm glad that they're going after them for $7 million.
Can I ask you guys this, since we're going to be having this? And by the way, you all can weigh in. I do think there should be criminal charges. Now, if I go somewhere and steal maybe an iPad from Apple or an iPhone, should there be criminal charges? That's a question I'm asking for all of you. Should there be criminal charges if I go and steal an iPad or an iPhone? If your answer is yes, then there should be criminal charges for someone going down and cutting 140 trees down.
And in the 360 agrees with you. Fines are not going to fix the damage, she says. Press criminal charges. If they actually sit in a jail cell for a while, then the next homeowner will likely be unlikely to consider committing that same crime. Thomas in Tacoma says, hey, if they can afford to pay a company to cut down 140 trees, they can pay the $7 million. And he says that he paid $1,000 to cut down one tree in his yard, and it was a small one. Sue on Tiger Mountain asks a good question. Should the company that took those trees down bear any responsibility? Do they routinely cut down 140 trees without confirmation that the land belongs to the homeowner? And then Lily in Mason County, maybe we're too soft. Nope, $7 million is, she says $7 million is not enough. She says protected public land is a trust for the future. Federal crime, she says.
So they should not only face criminal charges, then there's this word called restitution, right? You guys know about that word, where there's something where if you do something to someone and you got to restore something to the rightful owner and you have to make amends for the loss or the damage. So not only should you face criminal charges, you should also have to pay the $7 million back as well. Because I would assume if those 3 homes are worth X amount of money, correct me if I'm wrong, how much are homes worth over in that area? So I'm assuming that there's a way that you can get $7 million. Now, again, I know that sometimes it's real easy to pick and choose which crimes are real serious. Sometimes they say, well, that's a white-collar crime, and they should go to the jail for the white-collar folks and all those. Well, this one right here is criminal charges, Ursula.
Ooh, a lot of people are agreeing with you. Brooke in the 425, yes, charge them. That was public property. Kevin in Black Diamond, criminal charges, yes. But what is $7 million going to do, he asked. They should be forced to replant trees. Hey, I agree with that. Do some kind of community service to make up for what damage they've done. $7 million. It's just going to go into some fund and get wasted somewhere.
No criminal, Ursula?
The reason I'm hesitating is because I also don't know that if it would actually stick in court. I mean, I could be convinced.
I mean,
should they file criminal charges?
Why wouldn't it stick in court?
How about file criminal charges and then, they end up getting some kind of community service where they have to plant a bunch of trees. Plant 3 times the number of trees that you chop down. How's that?
Oh, that's a lot of trees.
Okay, hey, if you don't have your real ID yet and you're worried about traveling, you don't have to worry because there is one airline that is suggesting that soon you may not even need to show your ID. Wait, what's going on with that one?
So there's 3 different airports right now that are going to be letting you come in, and they're doing the ID. It's kind of like a facial recognition. If you have Clear, any of you all have Clear, and you've done Clear before, and you go in, and before you used to have to do your eyes and everything. Now on Clear, you can just do your face. Well, there's going to be 3 airports. There's going to be Portland, there's going to be LAX, and SCA. They're going to be the 3 airports that's going to have this facial deal where you can kind of go in.
Alaska Airlines, right? Or is it all just the airports?
It's just the airport. It's TSA.
Interesting, because it says here, the copy that I have says Alaska Airlines.
Oh.
So it's available to
just go through
everybody.
TSA.
No, I think it's
just Alaska?
just Alaska for now.
Oh, well, maybe I saw that wrong.
Okay,
so
it says so instead of handing over your physical ID, you would just have to have your face scan. Do you know when I went on the cruise? And I told you,
I
don't have real ID, and I didn't have to show my passport. It's because they said, no, we got facial recognition. You're good.
But in all fairness, though, you were going on a cruise.
Yes.
Meaning you weren't flying anywhere. So you were on boat or by car. So you can do that without a passport.
Yes, because I did show my passport. You're right, because I'm thinking about it. I did show my passport to get on the plane to get to Florida.
Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you didn't have your real ID.
No.
But you were your port was in America.
Yep.
So you jumped on the boat right there.
Yeah.
At that point, you don't really need a passport.
Yeah, I was fully expecting, though, to have to show real ID, and then we're like, no, we've got facial recognition.
Oh, good stuff. A lot of people. Hey, man, a lot of y'all coming back saying them folks need to face criminal charges.
You be the judge. You're a harsh judge.
You guys are harsh, man. What is going on? Okay, coming up at 11:30. You know what? This is a first. Oh, I get to have fun. This is a first. Come on. What am I about to say, Sophia?
You stapled the papers wrong. 11:30.
My God. Okay.
I'll help you, G. Agree to disagree is coming up next, and we're going to. Okay. You've got the ick. Is that the end of a relationship? Is that immediate doom for a relationship?
That's Gen Z in them. That's Nick and Sophia and all their friends getting the ick. Wants to be done with. All right. Well, we'll do that and agree to disagree next. Gee Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
Seattle's Morning News with Charlie Hargert and Manda Factor.
Tomorrow morning at 7:15, we have Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell.
We have invited all the mayoral candidates into the studio.
And Mayor Harrell answers our question about crime, homelessness, and housing and how they impact Seattle.
Right now, we're getting over 4,000 applications. So I took a demoralized police department, and through changing policies and inspiration, we're building them back up.
That's tomorrow morning on Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Do you love to go on summer drives or maybe travel around the state and go to places like Lake Chelan? That's something we love to do every single summer, and we do it in our Subaru Outback. That car has been great for all of our family adventures. We bought it at Carter Subaru. It is actually one of 2 vehicles that our family has purchased from this family-owned dealership. We love Carter Subaru because you are going to be treated like family. They don't resort to any pushy sales tactics. There are no gimmicks. We are repeat customers because Carter Subaru is committed to treating their customers with the utmost respect. That's how you want to be treated. And right now, they have what you've been searching for with over 300 new vehicles in stock, including the 2025 Forester, now with 3.9% financing for 48 months on approved credit. Shop with the Carter Subaru Advantage, and you can enjoy valet parking at Carter Subaru's Ballard dealership and at-home delivery across all locations.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 6/30/25.
Hey guys, it's Keith Dashafi from Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington, and we are not done celebrating 100 years of industry leadership. For a limited time, get $100 off every window, $100 off every door, or choose 60 months of 0% financing with no interest and equal payments. That's right, 100 years strong, and we're giving you more ways to save on the Pella difference. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaPNW.com. Thank you again for letting us serve you in the Northwest.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Hey, get in. What? Who are you? I'm future you. Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Yeah. Mia, our doctor figured it out. She said it's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
You just invested in new gutter guards to keep the junk out. So why are they clogged with moss and gunk? Well, here's the missing link between just any gutter guards and ones that actually work. You see, most gutter guards, sure, they stop leaves, but they don't stop what grows on them. Moss, algae, grime, they take over, turning your new gutter guards into a plugged, soggy mess. And that's where Moss Eater's gutter guards come in. They're changing the game. It's the only gutter guard with copper-infused tech. That means moss, algae, and gunk won't grow on it. It's like having a built-in Moss Eater on your home. And look, at Moss Eaters, we're not just going to install your guards and then let you fend for yourself. No, we're going to maintain your roof too. Because a clean roof and clog-free gutters means no water, no leaks, and no stress. Get the only gutter guard that truly fights back. Call Moss Eaters at 206-531-7800 or visit mosseaters.com today. That's 206-531-7800 or online at mosseaters.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Stop Medicare fraud. Report anything suspicious to the Washington State Health Insurance Benefits Advisors, known as SHIVA. If you suspect Medicare fraud, learn more by searching for Washington Medicare fraud. Again, search Washington Medicare fraud.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. President Trump is accusing both Israel and Iran of violating the ceasefire he brokered.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
CBS's Deborah Pattis says it is calmer today after strikes overnight.
Iran's parting shots came in 6 waves of missiles, with a direct hit on the Israeli town of Beersheba. Rescue workers rushed to the scene, searching for survivors.
At least 4 people died. Nearly a dozen Iranian nationals have been picked up in the U.S. by ICE, which says the group includes an individual with ties to Hezbollah. CBS's Nicole Skanga.
Officials have not linked these arrests to any specific credible terrorism plots, but all of these Iranians have been charged or accused of criminal violations. According to ICE, that means more than just violating civil immigration law.
The National Transportation Safety Board is holding a hearing today to determine exactly why a door plug blew out of a Boeing 737 MAX near Portland last year. NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy.
It was missing bolts securing the door plug, but the same safety deficiencies that led to this accident could just as easily have led to other manufacturing quality escapes and perhaps other accidents.
Preliminary reports indicate workers failed to attach the bolts at Boeing's Renton plant. The FAA has capped Boeing 737 MAX production at 38 jets a month until regulators are sure the company's improved safety. Despite continued bashing from President Trump about lowering interest rates, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell told a House hearing there's enough concern about tariffs and inflation to keep rates where they are for now.
A significant majority of the committee, but also there's a pretty significant minority that doesn't agree, but a significant majority feels it will be appropriate to reduce rates later this year.
PCC Community Markets is reopening in Seattle's Rainier Square next month, but it'll be a much smaller version than the one that closed in 2024 over low foot traffic. The new store, called PCC Corner Market, will focus on quick meals and everyday essentials. Wall Street is encouraged that the ceasefire may now be holding between Iran and Israel. The Dow is up right now, 491 points. NASDAQ ahead, 288. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Seattle, a crash briefly blocked a lane on the I-5 southbound express lanes at Mercer Street. It's gone. You've got just a little bit of a backup, but travel time Everett to Seattle is half an hour. That's right about on target. In Monroe, the crash has been cleared from eastbound US 2, and now the backup is cleared. You are slow on State Route 18 from the Tiger Mountain Summit almost to I-90, and it's slow going I-5 southbound along JBLM. Travel time Tacoma to Olympia, 44 minutes. That's about 10 longer than typical. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by Stade Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 80. It's 68 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee, I'm worried about you.
Yeah.
You feeling any better? I don't think so.
I don't think this is all allergies.
I know. I just want to say thank you for hanging in there. We are almost at home base. We are almost at the end.
I don't even know if I came to the ballpark today. I don't even know if I.
Well, this is going to be fun because we're going to do Agree to Disagree, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters. And Sophia's got a few great questions.
Take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
I sure do. So today we're talking about the ick, which Gee has mentioned over and over again is a young person thing. But over the past few years, more and more people have blamed the ick for their relationship failures. The ick are basically little isms or quirks about someone that turn you off, but it's less about general pet peeves like gum chewing and more about specific actions or behaviors. Like one that I have seen that makes me laugh is if you ever want to get over a guy, think about a man chasing a ping pong ball, like after he loses it and has to run after the ping pong ball. Like that's like a very specific ick, right? Like just picture a man chasing after a ping pong ball.
That's enough to get someone to break up?
That's an ick that people have to be like, you know what, I can't be with that guy. But also more specific things like someone in an article published by the New York Times, which is saying, you've got the ick, is your relationship doomed, said that someone talking on the phone on the toilet, like answering the phone while they're on the toilet, turned them off, or having weird quirks while they were driving. But it's been so much of a thing that psychology researchers at Azusa Pacific University did do a study and found that over a quarter of surveyed singles who experienced the ick found it worrisome enough to end the relationship immediately. So, for some people, it could actually be a larger sign of a red flag. But do you think that the ick shows incompatibility or red flags, or are people selling themselves short of a meaningful relationship and they should just suck it up? Gee, you look like you have some thoughts.
I have a lot of thoughts, but I'll tell you what I won't do. I won't sit here and go off about this too much because, Ursula, it's the younger generation that has educated me on this ick stuff. And I don't know of any relationships, right, that are over with because of some type of ick. I know of some, because of serious stuff, financial, cheating, infidelity, all that stuff. But if the ick, I don't know anybody. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to see if I learn. Hey, do you know anybody, Ursula?
I do. I've heard that term. I hang out with young people a lot because of my two sons, right?
Okay.
So I hear about these things. I've heard the term used, the ick. And it makes me think of a couple of things. One is I could look at the positives and say there are people who the younger generation is not willing to settle. The younger generation's like, hey, I don't need to have a partner in my life. So if there are some little things that I'm not willing to take on for the rest of my life, I don't, or even for a longer period of time, I don't need to deal with it. I can be on my own.
I want to say
so that's the positive.
I want to say to the young people, what would you rather do? Live with your parents or live with that person and get through the ick? Which one would you rather do?
Or how about there's another option though.
What is that one?
This is the part that I'm like, why are we having this generation that seems to be so non-confrontational or just does not want to bring up, if you have the ick about something, how about say, you know what? I don't like the way you use the phone while you're, pooping or, whatever it is. That just grosses me out. I worry about where your hands have been and now your phone's dirty. Whatever it is, just have that conversation. I don't believe I just said that on the air, but where you don't want to have a real conversation and get to what is that ick and get over it. Give the person a chance to make that change. Chasing a ping pong ball? Like, what are we talking about here?
That visual was, I can understand that though. Like this guy is just he's so worried about catching this ping pong. You just see him just
the shirt's riding up a little bit in the bag.
Yeah, and you see a little plumbers. Yeah. Now, I blame this on the young generation. Nick, Sophia, do you know of anyone where the ick was a deal breaker?
Well, here's the thing. I think if you genuinely like someone and can see yourself having a future with them, you can get over the little quirks.
Thank you.
Even if in your brain you're like, I really don't like the way he looks when he does that. If you're really into someone, you can get over it. But I do think that it can also serve as a tool to sit back and assess, do I actually like this person? Because if one little thing is making me, feel questionable about them, maybe it's not going to work out. So in the big scheme of things, it's just a larger indicator of relationships that might not be meant for you.
But I need to ask y'all, do you think it's just this term, they're calling it the ick, but for us it was a gut feeling? So we call it, I'm listening to my gut.
Oh, yeah.
The younger generation, it's an ick.
That's true.
Because didn't we always have that one thing like, oh, man.
Yeah, true.
Even a breath mint is not going to help this breath, and I just don't think I can live with it. You know what I'm saying?
The pheromones aren't doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Nick, you know anybody?
No, I wouldn't consider ick. I would say more along the lines of what Ursula was saying, like red flags or just warning signs early on. But if you find icks that are fully developed in a relationship, that's a problem. I find icks to be unique traits within people. If you're well off into a relationship, little quirks and unique trait. I don't know. Maybe if the way somebody laughs, or for me. It's not like an ick, but a deal breaker if how clean somebody is. I can't deal with somebody who doesn't keep their place up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, there you go.
But I wouldn't call that ick. That's a deal breaker. That's something you got to establish early on.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to say something. Let me see how fast it gets back to my wife. If my wife would have sneezed in front of me in the first 2 weeks that we were getting together,
that would have been enough.
That'd have been enough. That
because
sneeze
you're still together
is louder than fireworks on the 4th of July. That sneeze will wake up the entire neighborhood.
Here's a good question that might give you ick. Can you handle snoring? Can you handle somebody who snores?
Oh, yeah. There's remedies.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be enough. An ick for me, or that gut instinct, would just be lack of character. It's got to be that deep.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no.
Was that a record breaker? Agree to disagree? One topic?
Yeah.
That was fun. That was good. Good stuff, Sophia. Way to get us going. All right. Text messages, feedback. Your boy is on third base. And then we'll have Ursula's words to live by. It's Gee and Ursula.
Jake and Spike.
How you doing today?
Oh, fabulous.
You're looking a little, are you a little glum?
No.
Oh, you're fabulous.
Fabulous. I'm faking it till I make it.
Good for you.
I'm a transmission fluid half full kind of guy.
Oh, that's nice.
How's that?
You need that today.
I do need that.
You're having some car troubles. Is that okay that I tell people that?
Yeah, of course it is. We live our lives. We live our lives for the betterment and enjoyment of this city.
The Jake and Spike Show.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
On KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
G. Scott here to remind everyone to have a safe Independence Day. DUI patrols are in effect and DUI rates are higher around the holidays. If pulled over for DUI, contact DUI Heroes immediately at 1-800-DUI-HERO. Available 24/7. Jonathan and his team understand good people make mistakes. They recognize a human being behind the charge and treat them the way we would want to be treated. DUIHeroes.com, 1-800-DUI-HERO, your DUI defense specialist.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Washington state. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda with Northwest Hope and Healing. We provide a lifeline to breast and gynecologic cancer patients. Join us at Life in Color, a brunch auction and fashion show on August 17th at the Columbia Collective in Woodinville for an unforgettable afternoon celebrating 25 years of hope and support. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 17th at nwhopeandhealing.org. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, other insurers, not available in all states or situations.
Celebrate the red, white, and beautiful during the July 4th sale at Dania Furniture. Take up to 50% off an assortment of styles for your whole home. Be sure to shop early for the best deals. Stop by our 4 local showrooms today or shop online at daniafurniture.com.
Oh, the current icks. The icks are being brought up and sent to the text line. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Ursula, we got to start off with these text messages.
Oh, my God, we're starting here.
Whoa, what we doing around here?
Okay,
folks,
one of the icks, if Mark's ick was a laugh, you talked about your wife's sneeze.
And by the way, she was listening.
She texted immediately.
Yeah, she heard me.
Lillian, I also have a really loud sneeze, and I have a cackle of a laugh. Now, if Mark based whether we would have a relationship on those two things, I would have been out. Thank God he did not.
Okay.
Okay, and then Brian in Bellevue has one.
Wait, oh, goodness. Why? No, I ain't saying that. You say that.
Brian in Bellevue says, I am beyond immature right now. Ursula enunciating the word pooping had me laughing so hard. No matter how old I get, I will never change. And Brian, what I told G off the air is, G, if you were feeling any better, you would have been laughing hysterically at that. I know you're sick. I know you are. It's not allergies. You are sick.
Robin and Graham says, the ick is nothing new. I haven't been in the dating scene for 36 years, but back when I was dating, I would get the second date ickies all the time, and I wouldn't date that person anymore. I never got the ickies with the man I married, and we've been married for 35 years.
Ed and Ballard says, the phrase the ick gives me the ick.
And all right, Sandy and Olympia. Now, you didn't say keep it on a hush, but here it goes. Sandy says, my ex with current boyfriend. I saw him lick the coffee drip off his coffee cup at dinner. I've done that. He does not wipe his shoes on the doormat after walking his dog, so it tracks in leaves, etc. Hand washing issues and some others too. Not sure I can keep them.
I'm not sure if we should have used her name. Oh, boy. On local tourism being down in downtown Seattle and why folks say they don't go to downtown, Jeff from Auburn says, I'm a local, but I also lived in Las Vegas for 5 years. Asking if anybody wants to go to the Space Needle here is the equivalent of asking anyone in Vegas if they want to go to the Strip. Okay, there's some truth to that.
Brenda in Grays Harbor County says, I used to love going downtown Seattle, but now there are several factors that contribute to me not going. Parking and crime. It's hard to find parking, and you don't know what condition your vehicle will be in when you get back to it if someone tried to break into it.
Mindy Bothell also says, parking. I like to go downtown on occasion, but generally go on Sundays as parking is free. I'm in Snohomish County, and I have no interest in having to take multiple modes of public transportation to get down there.
Christopher in Mount Lake Terrace says, I haven't been to the Space Needle since January 2003.
On those homeowners cutting down trees, which we turned into a You Be the Judge, man, there were a lot of people who said criminal charges should be filed. Cliff in Woodinville says, I get those homeowners' desires to clear the trees that are blocking their views. In our last house, we had a beautiful mountain view, and the trees across the street and down a hill were starting to grow into that view. I considered many plans to trespass and do something. Considered, but I never did anything. Instead, we just moved.
Bill in Lake Stevens says, $7 million is a little steep. How about $1,000 per tree plus community service?
Pat in Olympia says, pay the $7 million, and if you can't pay, then go to those criminal charges.
Ann in the 360 says, fines won't fix the damage. Press criminal charges. If they actually sit in a jail cell for a while, then the next homeowner will be unlikely to consider committing the same crime.
On favorite fast food places, and we asked this because we had a couple of stories. One was that Chick-fil-A has highest satisfaction for the 11th year in a row.
Yeah.
I mentioned that I still enjoy an Arby's from time to time, and Pat in Olympia says Arby's might do real well next to retirement homes.
Mm-hmm. Facts. Jamie in Seattle says, I feel like G and I had the same childhood. That's because we love McDonald's. And you know what? A lot of you all try to pretend that you don't love McDonald's, but some of y'all do. You just grab McDonald's before you go home, eat it, and then throw it away, and then walk in the house.
Did I tell you guys that I did finally download the app? And you can get great
deals
on. Yeah, you get great deals on the fries.
Lillian's son Jared, he was the first one that I knew of that had the McDonald's app and would get all the goodies. So,
Okay, well, speaking of saving money on having that $80 million home, and also paying for expensive haircuts. Jeff in Bonnie Lake says, if I had stupid amounts of money, I would want a compound with extra homes for my parents and my daughter. I don't need a big house for me, but a compound for the whole family, sign me up. I dream of that too. I would love that.
Okay, Ursula, let's go. It's time for your words to live by, and it better have nothing to do with me. But go ahead.
Well, it could have something to do with you. This is a quote from Khalil Gibran, who says, the smallest act of kindness is worth more than the greatest intention.
Oh, that's good stuff. Good
Try
stuff.
to be kind to just one person today, if you can. And
Try-
I'm going to be kind to you.
I'm gonna try to
I
be
hope
kind
you go
to myself.
Home. Yeah, you should be kind to yourself. I hope you get a chance to go home and sleep. And I'm just going to assume you're not going to be here tomorrow. Get well.
If I feel like this, probably not.
We'll
Thanks,
go easy
Ursula.
on you.
All right, Brother Nick, what you got,
Well,
man?
typically this time of year, the tourists come to town, taking in the market near the Ferris wheel that goes around. But I'm hearing now these days, Seattleites don't take the bait for going out, at least to visit spots they know are great. And there isn't any ick to find when checking out these parts, though the gum wall might give you some cringy feelings in your heart. I know it can definitely give me an ick sometimes, but other than that, it's great.
Okay, good stuff today. Ursula, have a good rest of your day.
You do too. And I hope all of you listening right now, hopefully y'all get a chance to enjoy the sunshine. And Sophia, thank you so much. We're going to have you again tomorrow.
Sophia, you did
Fantastic
a good job today.
Thanks, yo. Yeah, I'll be here all week. So.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Nick. Thank you for everything you do. Hey, the Jake and Spike Show, they're coming in next. Make sure you stick around. We appreciate you rocking with us. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you had as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
The Jake and Spike Show.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
Seattle is the nation's most male-skewed major city. There's more men in Seattle. They say in the article here, they said the most masculine city, but I absolutely disagree with that.
You've seen the men in this town.
Exactly.
Please. It's not like it's 80-20.
No,
that's when it's hard to meet a lady.
That's true.
When there's 4 guys for every girl. That's when it's here come the bride's time.
The Jake and Spike Show.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
On KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Every summer we drive to Lake Chelan in our Subaru Outback. That car has been great for our family adventures. We bought it at Carter Subaru, and they have what you've been searching for with over 300 new vehicles in stock, including the 2025 Forester, now with 3.9% financing for 48 months, or go electric with the 2025 Solterra EV, 0% APR for 72 months.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 6/30/25.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Considering selling your home or downsizing? Visit themadronagroup.com for no obligation counsel. The Madrona Group's team of John L. Scott experts makes it easy, guiding you to best pricing and timing, maximizing your profit with smart technology and unparalleled integrity. 5-star reviews and industry best according to Zillow, Google, Yelp, Facebook, and Redfin. This Saturday, hear the Madrona Group's Jason Fox on KIRO Newsradio's Home Matters. Maximize your home sale. Visit themadronagroup.com.
Every year, 4.5 million young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 visit the ER.
It's every parent's nightmare.
Umergency gives you all the tools you need to quickly and effectively manage your family's emergency. Umergency provides instant access